Your eyes on the prize. You gotta rise to the challenge. Show 'em what you got. Step up and take what's yours. You are kings now, Curse of Titans.
One. Here we are, boys. Episode. I didn't even check if Brian's on screen. I'm glad that worked.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Oh.
But I don't know if I'm on screen.
No, I didn't check much when I just started it because we were rushing. So
Ready, shoot, aim.
Pretty much. That's exactly what happened here. So here we are, episode 84. We're gonna do Robbinsdale High School Part 2. A lot to cover with that. We ended off at what, class of 78?
We have some 77 left. We still have Rick Rude and Kurt Hennig if we're going to cover them, or are we just going to save them for their own thing?
Nah, let's do it.
Alright.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to go like into their full career, but just like maybe a little bit, like breeze over, because obviously if we do like they won't enough their own episode, but we'll do like a quick breeze through there. So we're gonna cover the results of Hell in a Cell, a little bit of This Week in Wrestling. We're not going over full stuff, unless there's anything super that we're gonna cover Halloween Havoc, because that's something that's hasn't been around for a long time. We're not going to cover
31 years. They did the math.
Yeah, we're not going to cover the entire
31,
card,
that's
but
how
just
old it is.
what we thought of it. And then essentially, the reason we're starting late tonight is because on Independent Wrestling TV, I'm wearing it right now. Camp Leapfrog came back tonight. Camp Leapfrog came back, so we did watch a little bit of Camp Leapfrog. I'm not exactly sure what time on Sunday, but we are going to do a review show. Me and Brian are going to do a review show of Camp Leapfrog and tell you everything we thought about it. And if you want to go watch it, go to IWTV, our Independent Wrestling TV, right now. Subscribe. Is the code? What's the code? Does anyone know the code?
The code is Leapfrog, and the website is independentwrestling.tv.
Yeah, I was going to say, always remember the dot.
The dot TV. So the links are below. The links are linked below, but use code Camp Leapfrog.
Just Leapfrog.
I'm sorry.
Just Leapfrog.
Just Leapfrog, and get a free month, right? A free month, and you can watch both.
I don't know if it's free month. I think it might be a few free days. It's enough to watch Camp Leapfrog and a bunch of other stuff.
Cool. Yeah, so you can watch both episodes of Camp Leapfrog that are on there. The Halloween special was a blast. Had a really good time watching it. Like I said, we'll do a full review. So go watch it and then come back and hang out with us Sunday, and we'll talk about it.
And I think there's the last GSW shows on there. I believe there's some True Wrestling on there.
Yeah.
I believe there might be even one Outbreak show, maybe two. I'm not sure.
There are a few Outbreak shows on there. There's one where the one with Ace Austin, and who did he wrestle right before he signed? Was it
Trajan?
Was it Killian?
Was it Killian, I think, yeah. There's one where you had a ladder match when you were the champion.
Okay.
You won your belt. It's on IWTV.
Wow, that's awesome. There you go. Watch
you
that.
being the champion on IWTV.
Against Robbie Radke and DB Kraft. I think it was Drew whatever.
Yeah.
Drew Chaos. Not Drew
I remember that night. That was fun.
Drew Bronson.
You busted your lip open real good that match.
Did I?
Yeah.
I forget.
As soon as I saw you dive, your feet caught the top rope a little bit, and then when you came down, you hit your lip a little bit. You were shed a little blood.
Oh, jeez, I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun night.
So there, tons of good stuff on Independent Wrestling.
You go watch our Andy win a world championship.
Jerry TV.
Yeah.
There's also The Masked Wrestler, which is a takeoff of The Masked Singer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where wrestlers are all hidden, and the loser has to unmask and reveal their identity.
Well, and the first one was filmed at, or first or second one was
They're all filmed. They're all filmed up at the True Mill.
Oh, okay. Well, how about the True Mill?
Yeah. Oh, you can't really see this, Brian, unless you're watching. But look at this cool glass I have tonight. No,
I don't know if we'll be able to read it. Turn it. There you go.
I don't quite have the screen up right now.
It says Warhorse. So
Warhorse Brewery. I don't know. I just thought it was a cool glass for tonight.
It says Whore Wars. What?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, IndependentWrestling.tv. Warhorse is the champion there.
Yeah, the reigning champion, former champion Orange Cassidy. So just some names there.
After we finish going live tonight, we do have 2 unboxings. We have Pro Wrestling Loot, 2 unboxed tonight, and Pro Wrestling Crate. So we're going to record those and upload them for you guys so you can check those out as well. So we have those coming immediately after this. I'm not sure if the unboxing are going to be live. If you want them to go live, type in the chat, say go live with the unboxings, and we'll do it.
We're live, pal.
And then we'll upload them later to YouTube. Yeah, do you have the results for Hell in a Cell up? Let's get through those.
Not as many matches. They went for longer matches as opposed to a lot of matches here. On the pre-show, you had R-Truth beating Drew Gulak to retain the 24/7 title.
Mm-hmm.
And then the opener was the I Quit Hell in a Cell match. Roman Reigns beat Jey Uso, got him to say I quit by beating up Jimmy Uso. So he wouldn't quit for himself, but he quit for his brother.
Yeah, now a lot of people are highlighting the end of where Roman kind of cried a little bit and showed emotion and stuff and said they really enjoyed the match because of it. I'm not gonna lie, that match did nothing for me.
I heard it wasn't the best of matches. Maybe a good story, but not.
Yeah.
Yeah, the story was there, but the match was what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's going to be the underlining tale for a lot of what happened tonight for me.
Oh, okay.
I thought some of the stuff inside the cage wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
Well,
Nice little cameo after by Alpha and Sika.
yeah, and they
Yep.
give him the lays and say
The
you are
lays.
the tribal chief. Obviously, he's on the road to versus The Rock at WrestleMania. The Rock ain't making a movie.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
I like it.
It continues the story, but I thought after seeing their first match together,
Yeah.
I thought this would have been a better showing, and
Yeah.
I to me it wasn't that great match wise.
Yeah, I didn't see much of it.
It wasn't awful.
Yeah,
It just didn't grab me.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was all right.
All right, next match.
The next match was a non-Hell in a Cell match. Jeff Hardy loses to Elias by DQ because he hit Elias with a guitar.
I heard
Did
this
not
was
need
a
did not need to be on pay per view.
was a Raw match.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Miz beat Otis to win the Money in the Bank contract when Tucker turns on Otis.
So they finally get the briefcase off of Tucker of Otis.
And they put it on a guy who hasn't won a match in like 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would put on the Miz. I don't see the Miz winning the belt.
So here's
No, I don't.
I think they'll give the Miz the title.
Maybe Miz should have the title when
They
he was feuding
could.
with John Cena.
So here's the thing with the Miz, has in a short period of time had 2 kids
Mhm.
and went through a pandemic, and pretty much showed the company he's not going anywhere, and was
Wow.
there the entire time. He's willing to go out there and get squashed.
There was a lot of other guys there the entire time too.
I understand, but a lot of guys have had kids and disappeared for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Miz missed I think 2 days in 2 years.
Yeah.
He wrestled WrestleMania while his wife was almost in labor.
Yeah. I know you. I understand you want to give someone a thank you, but
Yeah,
it's like when I say when you book your friends, but your friends aren't that good.
yeah. I think the Miz is good enough to be a champion. I think if
I wouldn't. I
he'd
think he's
be
good
a-
enough to be the champion and then lose it like the next week.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when Sheamus was the champion when he cashed in Money in the Bank.
fair.
Yeah. I
Um,
Miz is talking wise, yes.
He has two
In-ring wise,
shows on USA Network.
Yeah, but I mean that's not.
Who cares?
Who
Like, that
cares?
doesn't make it a
Who
champion.
gives a shit?
Yeah, I just think I think those things right there will at least give him a title for a couple weeks.
I mean, the thank you is his paycheck he gets every week.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand wrestling; they do the thank you title reign, but he already had that.
Yeah.
His main event at WrestleMania.
And Daniel Bryant was
not
on a
that good.
huge losing streak before he won world title with the
Yeah. They'll tell you that was on purpose, but it wasn't.
They tend to do that. They just tend to have the Money in the Bank guy lose a lot because they'll be like, "Oh, he'll just get his heat back when he wins." But Miz wasn't the Money in the Bank guy. He just kept losing.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's better than Otis.
Yeah. I mean, if you're Otis, how do you feel about going to work the next day? You're like, ooh, they have no faith in me.
I think he probably knew, like, wow, I'm getting the Money in the Bank. Like,
What
you really think he thought, oh, win the world
what a
title?
waste of time that whole thing was.
It
though.
was like it was Vince. Let's put on Otis. No, maybe you should put on Aleister Black
This literally goes to show, and I hate that
or
we're,
even AJ.
that we're shitting on WWE this bad again. But it's
Well,
just like
they deserve it.
it shows they have no long-term plans.
No, they
Or
don't.
goals.
Well, Vince said people don't remember from week to week. That was
Yeah.
one of his quotes.
Horrible. The whole month you just threw away. All those months.
Yeah, I think who else was in that? Well, you could have put on AJ. You could put on Daniel
Shinsuke.
Bryan. No, Nakamura wasn't in that.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Corbin.
Corbin was
Corbin.
even in it. That probably would have been a better choice.
Aleister Black.
Corbin
Yeah.
killed 2 guys in that match.
Yeah, 2 guys died in that match. So if they didn't die, Aleister Black or Rey Mysterio would have been better choices. Anyone. They put it on the worst possible choice.
Yeah.
And look what happened.
Yeah. It's just
And someone's like, maybe he'll win it back. No.
no.
I don't know. I don't see the Miz. Like, is the Miz going to beat Roman? No.
But he's on Raw now, so it would be Randy Orton. You could see Randy Orton, but that would make him
Yeah.
a babyface.
Yeah, so it's weird.
If they do the thing where
Ooh.
Edge comes back, wins the Rumble, beats Orton for the title, I could see him screwing Edge for the title
I can see that, yeah.
What
and
if?
then losing it right away.
What if?
He goes to NXT.
No, what if they
Can you
just said
imagine?
he comes in, cashes on Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Then a couple weeks later, Randy Orton does his like champion rematch clause, and then just beats him back. Now he's 15-time world champion. And he's one away from the record.
So it's just to get Randy Orton's title wins up. That's
yeah,
it. I could believe it.
yeah.
And also, how dumb is it that wrestlers court, that was almost as bad as the MJF Chris Jericho singing thing.
Yeah, it was
I mean, it was as bad, but I don't expect bad stuff like that from WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Law and Otis.
And then,
It's you know what happened there? Someone said, "Oh, what should we do tonight?" I don't know. We should do like a court, and someone's like, "Yeah, like Law and Otis," and they're like, "Yeah, what should we do?" I don't know.
yeah.
But they had the name.
Does Roman need the title going into Mania to wrestle at The
No,
Rock?
but Vince will say yes,
Yeah.
and then The Rock will.
And Miz is on Raw, not SmackDown.
Yeah.
Well, he can cash in
Not
either
that
way.
that means anything.
I
yeah.
guess you can. Yeah.
I like this is shitty to say for me because it's like I always get annoyed when they try to scratch the nostalgia itch, and they're literally leaning for the nostalgia itch for both main events for the championships, probably going into Mania season with Edge and The Rock. But it would not bother me if Edge went in there and beat Randy Orton for the world
I wouldn't
championship
mind.
because he's gonna go in. He came back on his terms. He was never supposed to wrestle ever again. And if he wins a champion, has a little bit of a run, and then is able to retire on his terms and not due to injury,
Yeah,
I'm cool with that.
I'm okay. I think everyone's okay with Edge
Yeah,
winning the titles. Now it'd be
it's
different.
different. It's different if Goldberg comes back and wins
Yeah.
a title and squashes somebody.
Or if it was Edge beating.
What if Goldberg beats Reigns and then Miz beats Goldberg?
Yeah,
That'd
be something else.
All right, you sold me, Brian. I want Goldberg.
What
as
if
champion.
Miz shows up and he beats Finn Balor and wins the NXT title? And they have it like where he's the anti-wrestling NXT champion.
That would be a great heel thing. That would be like when they were trying to tease that Eva Marie was going to beat Asuka for the women's title.
Yeah.
Or like when Cactus Jack was in ECW, he said, "I'm not doing any hardcore stuff. Headlock."
Yeah.
he wanted he wanted the ref. I think it was like John Finnegan, one of the referees. He wanted them to disqualify. I think it was Mikey Whipwreck or Dreamer for using a closed fist.
I will say this though. Very shocked this opened the card.
Yeah.
It was one of the first
Yeah,
the first I was really shocked that with the Roman thing started.
Yeah, you would think that'd be the
Sorry,
main event.
I was ahead of myself.
Yeah.
I was shocked the Roman match was the first match of the
Yeah.
pay-per-view.
But I guess they figured. I think the match they did go with was the bad choice. And they shouldn't put that last.
Yeah.
Should have put Sasha and Bailey last. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Agreed.
Tucker turns, but no one cares.
That pretty much goes to show me is like Tucker's like, I'm losing my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Tucker's wrestled on main event this week, so
Oh,
he's not really
boy.
getting a lot of momentum from it.
What do you do?
Tucker's gone.
Yeah, what do you do?
Tucker has as much hope as Billy Kay right now.
Yeah, he's gonna be Trucker in
Yeah.
Impact in a month.
Yep. Well, I don't know if they're fully done with the Billy Kay Peyton Royce thing because they keep sneaking them back together somehow. But But if I'm Tucker, I'm like I'm making phone calls.
Saving that money.
Like, please, someone,
Yeah.
God.
I mean, I never really got to see him wrestle that much, but he just always seemed like I don't know.
Yeah, like
Both of them seem like they don't
all
don't have it.
all the guys you let go and you're letting go to other companies and
Yeah.
not giving them money.
And then you got this guy. in
That's
Japan.
the guy you kept on board because of you're
He's
interested
tall.
in his partner.
Yeah.
Interesting choice.
Maybe put him with that Riddick Moss guy and be like, we can't tell these guys apart. Let's make them a tag team.
All right, next match.
Next match was what should have been the main event. Sasha Banks beats Bayley to win the SmackDown Women's title in a Hell in a Cell.
We knew it was coming.
It was very, very good.
I'm not.
I thought it was the best match on the show by quite a bit.
It was, but I'm just not ready for Banks being champion. I'm not.
Oh, well,
I'm not
Bailey had it for how many days?
I know.
389.
I'm just not a Sasha.
Yeah,
Banks.
over a year.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just not a huge Banks fan.
No.
No.
Time for a change. Like
It
Omar
is.
said.
It is. But to pass it on to another horsewoman.
Well, no one else is getting that belt. anytime
Yeah,
soon.
it's just that that women's
the
division.
only other person to get that belt is whenever Ronda decides to come back.
Yeah, it just annoys me that the
And Asuka.
that
Yeah.
whole division is just held up by 4 girls and 2
Yeah.
of them aren't even there right now.
Mm.
Just sucks. Sucks. I don't know. It annoys me. Like who's Banks' first contender gonna be?
Lacey?
You built
I don't
nobody
know.
up.
Lacey's on Raw now.
Bianca? Is she there?
Carmella, maybe?
Maybe
Yeah,
Bianca.
Yeah, is Carmella a good guy or is she? No, she's a heel. I guess it doesn't matter.
She's a heel, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Wait,
yeah.
Bianca's on Raw.
Bianca will put her. No, Bianca's on SmackDown.
Is she? Okay.
Yeah, she flipped with the Street Profits. Yeah, Bianca I could see. Who else? Natty maybe.
Yeah,
You could
she
always do
prob-
a Natty
I would
run.
go Bianca.
Dana Brooke.
They've been doing a lot of vignettes for Bianca.
Dana's on Raw too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
It doesn't
It
matter.
would crack me up
Throw
if
a couple
Sasha
jobs
loses
at
her
her.
first
Yeah.
outing
Oh,
again.
Well,
boy, poor Sasha.
The big thing, we're going in the Survivor Series, so the pay-per-view match is going to be her and Asuka because they do the Raw versus SmackDown
Yeah.
thing.
Which I don't like how that every Survivor Series has to be Raw versus SmackDown. You just had the fucking draft.
I liked when they did the Raw SmackDown NXT, and now they're not even
And
NXT.
did you hear the one reason Dave Meltzer said because Vince is mad that NXT isn't getting the ratings every week? Which like
Yeah, they're losing.
You're
Yeah.
like, well, I don't know about that. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a Vince thing.
Yeah.
We can't play Survivor Series now.
Spoiler alert: NXT won the ratings
Yeah,
battle this week.
Yeah.
And AEW had a pretty good card to go against too.
I thought the AEW show was pretty good this week.
Nostalgia beat a good card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that happened.
Well, NXT had a good card too. In
yeah,
fairness.
yeah.
It did. It did. I think when you line up matches, I thought AEW was the better show to watch.
Okay. I didn't see NXT,
yeah.
so I can't really say.
But people seen Halloween Havoc and said, "What's happening here?"
Yeah, and the curiosity factor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, will they win the ratings next week? Who knows? It was also against a taped show. I mean, it's hard to get AEW results. I'm sure
I don't
you
think
can.
that. I don't think that really plays a whole lot into it.
I don't think that really matters too much.
Yeah.
But
All right, and then the main event for Hell in a Cell.
Well, before the main event, we
Oh,
did
yeah,
have
sorry.
an impromptu match where you didn't miss much here. Bobby Lashley beat Slapjack to retain the U.S. title.
I would have left that off the card
cares?
as well.
yeah,
Retribution is just dead in the water.
They're
dead in the water.
Mhm.
they're being booked like a job.
Stable.
Yeah, like just jobbers, a
Yep.
bunch of fucking yahoos.
Yep.
It's horrible.
Poor Mustafa Ali.
And one guy posted said, "Yeah, in a couple weeks, you guys will be loving him." Like, no one's gonna be loving him. What could they do?
Yeah, there's nothing.
The Rock joins, and then you're like, why is The Rock joining? Like,
Could you?
just end it. Just end it.
Oh.
It'll be like Nightmare Family. Just end it.
Yep. I would just.
The one guy who could have been the leader and they weren't going to get him, I guess, would have been CM Punk. Like it would have fit.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, that would have been it.
Yeah, CM Punk couldn't even save the NXT
Yeah.
guys though.
Yeah, someone said, it was the same thread. The guy was saying, yeah, well, the Retribution, I think, is going to be a great faction like Nexus. I was like, are you joking?
Nexus wasn't.
Nexus was horrible.
Yeah, it was garbage.
Yeah, and he's like, no, it's CM Punk led it was good. I was like, no, it wasn't. It was CM Punk and a bunch of cronies.
They're like, cool. We have Daniel Bryan here. Let's
Yeah.
disband this group
Yeah.
and take this one guy.
I was like, some people's views, they're just
Yeah.
so dumb. And like another guy posted, he said, it was like WWE's page and said, Halloween Havoc coming back. He's like, that's WCW. No, get your own ideas. I'm like, they own it.
They own it.
So
Yeah.
and everyone wants it. You fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like,
It's silly.
I hate wrestling fans.
All right, now the main event. Now that we got that
Now
that
the main
5-star
event.
match out of the way.
In our third Hell in a Cell match, Randy Orton gets a clean win over Drew McIntyre to win the WWE title.
There it is.
I can describe this match in 3 letters. ZZZ.
Yeah.
Snooze
It was a
fest.
Randy Orton match.
Yeah,
They're not the most exciting things in the world. He's solid all around. I get that why people
Mhm.
like him. I get like wrestlers like wrestling him. He's never a guy that's like, oh, Randy Orton, this is exciting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, like technically, move for move. It's fine wrestling. It's just not entertaining. Yeah, like the Miz. Yeah, Randy Orton versus the Miz. Wow, can you imagine that feud? The matches from
No.
that. Which is like one match.
I
is-
refuse.
Which match who could be more boring in this match? You or me? Headlock, abdominal stretch. Oh, that's like
Yeah.
you remember Brian when Randy Orton and John Cena were feuding around 2008. It was like every pay-per-view, and then they said we're gonna have a 1-hour Iron Man match between John Cena
Oh my
and
God.
Randy Orton. I said I will never watch that in my life, and I never.
I
did.
skipped that one. I skipped that
Yeah.
pay-per-view.
This is already after like 10 main events of them wrestling. Like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Randy Orton is just you heard it here first. He's the placeholder for Edge. That's exactly what he's gonna do.
Like they did some good things with his character this year, I think, but in the ring he's still Blandy Orton to me.
yeah, I agree.
All right. Hell in a Cell overall, what'd you think?
Solid show. Nothing like worth going out of your way to miss. The women's match was really good. The story in the Roman match was really good, but
That's it.
That women's match
It's
though, to me, did not need to be in a Hell in a Cell for it to happen. I think being in a Hell in a Cell
well,
held
none
it
of them
back.
did. They don't do it because it necessitates in a match. You just do it because it's October. We got to do Hell in a
Yeah,
Cell.
and
Yeah.
it's like that's why I wish the pay-per-views were named something different. Like,
Honestly,
we can do a Hell in a Cell, but we don't have to because the pay-per-view is named. Hell in a Cell.
honestly, if I was WWE, I would throw away Hell in a Cell and figure out something new to do for Halloween time.
Yeah, that should be Halloween Havoc.
Yeah.
Yeah. The WCW came up with it. Who cares?
Here's why. And if you're a fan of Hell in a Cell, I'm sorry but when first Hell in a Cell match, Shawn Undertaker, fantastic. I think they set a very high bar. Then,
Still the best one, I think.
And
actually.
then Mick Foley, Undertaker, did exactly what you needed to do, and they did the spot that everyone's been trying to replicate. And now they're trying to replicate it, but doing it in a safer manner, which is fine.
And they made the cell bigger too, which is like it's higher.
Yeah.
And it's like
Shane did his jump off, but it's still never going to be in the same aspect as Mick Foley.
I'm gonna talk maybe the worst Hell in a Cell, Undertaker versus Shane McMahon at WrestleMania.
Yeah. So here's the deal.
I raised you, Undertaker versus Big Boss.
Oh,
Man.
I forgot about that one.
And I was there.
Oh.
It was bad.
Boy, you've been all the pay-per-views. That King of the Ring '95.
Oh man. That was the one thing. That was the one thing I had a spoiler, little preview for Sunday. The one thing I had a bone to pick with Camp Leapfrog. It was not Roddy Piper and Jerry Lawler in the Kiss My Foot match. It was Bret Hart. I was there. I had to watch Savio Vega wrestle 4 times, damn it.
Brian, can you reset your camera quick?
Yeah.
I think you're frozen.
Oh, okay.
We can hear you,
let
but
me do
fine.
that.
But your camera is frozen. Yeah, how can you...
I'm being very still.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely...
you go.
It's that, yeah, you have to just
Yeah,
restart
Roddy
it.
Piper in the Kiss My Foot match. That guy should have known better.
I'm alive.
That commentary was full of references, though.
All right, Brian's taking up a lot of screen
No,
here.
now you're
we just
moving.
gotta
Now
adjust this.
you're live,
Sorry.
pal.
Oh, and I hate when I go to adjust it and it does it on its own. All right, now we're
I
good.
disappeared.
No, we're good.
Where did
now.
I go?
We're good now.
There I am.
Yeah. So
I'm watching on a delay, so it doesn't even make sense of my
Yeah.
mannerisms here.
yeah. So yeah, I just feel like there's nothing else you could do in that cage.
Well, when you have 3 in one night, what's special about them?
Exactly. And I what are you gonna do? Keep just propping up stuff inside the cage against the wall? Like,
let it go for a while.
I honestly think Bailey and Sasha Banks would have had a better match if they weren't confined in that. In
Probably, but like because they call the show Hell in a Cell, they feel they have to have one Hell in a Cell match, at least one. But if it was called something different, like Bad Blood, how it used to be,
yeah,
or whatever it was, then you don't have to have a Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, it was unnecessary. I just think
it's like TLC, and there's always a TLC mill.
Yeah, I just feel like the Hell in a Cell doesn't need to be a thing for a while.
No, it doesn't.
Take a break.
Yeah.
You can let it like cool off, and then have it when people really want to. You have a big feud that deserves it, then do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. You don't have a steel cage match every time.
No.
And the steel cage is only justified when it's really, really needed.
Yeah. And it used to be, these guys, all these people are interfering, and we gotta keep everybody out.
You know how Hell in a Cell works? Yeah, with a cage match where people keep interfering, or if they use a thing where the guy escapes the cage and he chicken shit running away, and the guy goes, "Oh, there's only one way we can settle this match, and that's in a Hell in a Cell." And you're like, "Oh my God, it's back!"
Escape that, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, it's back, it's back. Yeah, someone brings bolt cutters.
Yeah,
just like, oh shit,
let's defeat the whole purpose.
loophole.
Of this match.
Yeah, I'm over Hell in a Cell. Like it's becoming the pay-per-view that I'm not like. The last 3 now were just complete washes.
Oh, last year's was awful.
Yeah.
Remember with the Fiend and Seth
terrible.
Rollins.
Terrible. I
Was
don't know.
the year before that the one where there was no winner? Like Braun just came out and beat up everybody, or was that the year before
was
that?
Was that Elimination Chamber where
No.
Braun did that?
I
don't
don't
know.
remember.
It was like there was one where it was like Brock and Undertaker, and the finish was just that Braun beat up everybody.
Yeah, something like that. It just I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think they should take a break from it.
I agree.
All right, pro wrestling news. Anything newsworthy, guys?
Well, I said about. Well, go ahead.
No, good.
I was gonna say about Marty Scurll being off the ROH roster and apparently off the booking committee, but he's still an employee. He's just not on. He's not being used.
Yeah.
And then apparently the same with Dan Maff. So I wonder what's going on with Marty. Obviously, the speaking out stuff, but nothing ever really came of that.
I don't know if it's so much speaking out, or maybe they just don't like. I don't know. I don't know what it would be.
You know what? I don't know either.
Yeah.
But it's a shame because Marty's good. So I mean, I'm hoping he didn't do anything wrong. But who knows what ROH is doing?
Yeah, I haven't been following anything ROH does.
I've been following the Pure Title tournament a little bit. I believe I kind of lost track, but I think the final is going to be. I know Tracy Williams in it. I think he's against Jonathan Gresham, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Yeah, it's tough for me because I don't have really access to watch Ring of Honor,
me
just
either.
like I don't have access to watch Impact. So it's something I have to really, really, really go out of my way to
Well,
watch.
Impact, they fucking killed a guy, so
Yeah.
Impact, they're doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. Johnny Bravo died.
he's dead.
He's dead. He's never come back. Sinister Mister came back though. They
I-
resurrected him.
rumors are already circulating that he's going to be buried with his tornado tag sticker.
Oh
Yeah, that's the what I'm hearing. I heard he's going to be buried with it. That was one of his requests.
man.
What's the cliffhanger? It's who shot Johnny Bravo. He was getting married to Sue Young, and the lights go out. You hear a gunshot. The lights come on. He's bleeding. Tommy Dreamer is dressed like Road Warrior Animal, and he cowers. He like leans over the body and yells, "Who shot Bravo?"
Yeah, get it? Like who
His,
shot
his
JR? A
wife
reference
to
from
be didn't seem to be that perturbed about it. Maybe it was Rich Swann.
maybe it was Susie
Yeah.
Yeah,
that shot Sue
Rosemary.
Young's. No wait, who was getting married? Was it Rosemary or Sue Young? It was Rosemary.
Rosemary.
Oh, it was
Okay.
Rosemary.
Then
Yeah,
the
yeah,
joke
Rosemary.
doesn't
My
work
bad.
because
My
I was trying to
mistake,
say Sue Young's getting married, but then her alter ego Susie was the one shot because she didn't want to get married.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Taya Valkyrie shot him.
Yeah. I don't. Impact. Need to get an audience. Need to get something.
I do like how
It's
they
too
kill
quiet.
people though.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
they've
then
done
they
before.
bring him back.
Ali died. Well, what was her name? I don't know. Her name was Ali. Yeah, she died in,
Ali,
in
yeah.
the Nightmare Hell Room.
Yeah.
And then she
Mickey
became
James
Wonder-
died there. James Storm pushed her in front of a train.
That's funny.
Who's the one that got stabbed to death? Like last year around this time. There was a
Was
female.
that Alan?
With a female got like stabbed to death. And then she left and went to another company.
That was Ali.
Allie,
Yeah.
yeah.
She died in the Nightmare Hell world.
Yeah.
It was like the Sue Young world.
Yeah. So, yeah, interesting stuff. Anything else news related wise?
Now the big thing is, on sadly yesterday, Tracy Smothers passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I believe he's 58.
Yeah,
Was it Drew that put that post up about him?
I've seen a lot of people.
Drew
post it,
saying
yeah.
that he had him in the back, like he was in the back with him one time or something like that.
Oh, I don't know specifically, but I know a lot of people did post about Tracy. He was a well-liked guy, and one of the guys I never really heard anything bad about. I know when everyone dies, like, oh, he was a great guy, but I
Yeah.
never really heard anything bad about Tracy Smothers. And
I'm
he was
trying
in
to find the post here.
he was in WCW, he was in ECW, WWE,
he was everywhere. Yeah,
and NWA. So like, man,
Yeah.
he started wrestling, so he wrestled for as long as I was alive. Just
So
about.
Andrew wrote, I met Tracy when I was in IWA MS, ran the ECW arena. He was working Claudio Cesaro,
Oh wow.
and he was spray painting his boots because they were super old and worn out. And he said, "Kid spray paint is cheaper than new boots." And then he proceeded to tell me that he was going to blow off all of Claudio's spots. And of course, they went out and had a fantastic match. He would always tell the younger talent to slow
down.
slow and taper off.
Yeah, it's like, Tracy, what are we gonna do after tonight? Well, first we're gonna start off slow and taper off from there.
and he said, "A true legend. We need more people like Tracy in the business. Rest in peace."
Yeah.
So
From Nashville, Italy, when he was in the FBI.
Southern Italy,
Yeah.
Nashville, Italy.
Yeah.
In WWF, he was from Bowlegs, Oklahoma, because he was Freddie Joe Floyd, and that was a big rib on the Briscoe brothers because Jack Briscoe's real name was Freddie Joe Briscoe, and
Joe
Gerald Briscoe's real
Briscoe.
name was Floyd Briscoe, and they're from Bowlegs, Oklahoma.
I don't have the link up on our page. So if you do want to join us, head over to the Tornado Tag podcast community page. And if you are one of the pages that we shared our things to and you accepted us, thank you so much. But please go and share your group inside of our group because it's all love. And if you're supporting us, we definitely want to support you guys as well. We're just hustling, man, and trying to
Join the
get our name out
conversation.
there. But definitely, we will interact in your page as much as just we're trying, But there's a thing out right now. I guess that independent guy who jumped from the top rope and bent both of his knees the wrong
Oh, the back.
direction.
Oh, he was a
Oh,
backyard
my
guy.
I guess there's a GoFundMe page helping him out.
Really?
Yeah. Wow, did not see that coming in that video.
Yeah. Well, that was a freak accident. I mean, many
Ugh.
people have done. Like, think of watch any wrestling show. Watch how many guys climb up to the second rope for their entrance.
Yeah.
Almost all of them.
Yep.
So I mean, that was a freak
Crazy.
thing. I mean, maybe the guy had real chicken legs. I don't. Who knows? Maybe the ring was hard. I don't know.
Fuck, dude. Oh, dude, I don't even want to
I like it happens. The guy's like, obviously, it's a Sid moment, and then someone goes, "Took his legs broken." You think?
think.
Yeah.
God, dude, that's broken legs. That's torn ligaments. That's both
was bad,
kneecaps
yeah.
just blown out. Oh, horrible.
Yeah, he's still like he's still in danger of losing his legs.
Oh wow.
Really, that's horrible. Absolutely horrible. Such a freak accident. But yeah, he is. If I have to find the page for the GoFundMe, and if you guys know it, definitely put it in the comments below. But man, that's tough, man. Just go out there trying to do something you love and entertain, and you blow both your legs out like that. It's rough.
No, I'm not so much.
One thing I do want to mention real
Yeah.
quick before we move on about Tracy Smothers. Another great thing about him, he wrestled a bear without a muzzle. He wrestled
Wow.
an unmuzzled bear early in his career.
That's crazy.
He's like Khabib.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, back then he's like they would always do a thing. It was especially in the 70s. It was a big thing. They would have wrestling bears, and normally it would be the heel manager would get roped into some match where he had to wrestle a bear, and he would freak out like Gary Hart did. I think Bobby Heenan did it. But the bear would be in a muzzle. The bear would be trained like you squeeze its paw, and it would be trained to give you a snap mare and stuff like that. He wrestled a bear without a muzzle. He took it down a few times because the bear thought he was playing around. Like it was a tame bear. It wasn't like a vicious
I don't
bear,
care.
but still,
I
you're
don't care
wrestling
how
a goddamn
tame.
bear.
I don't care how
Still,
tame
yeah.
the bear is.
I think bear could just sit on you and be done.
If that bear was just like, hey, I take one swipe,
Yeah.
it's good night for
Yeah.
you forever.
Just bite you like Jesus.
Yeah. Real quick on the page as well, just kind of plug some things that people shared just to get them out there. Go check out the Sambo Show highlight reel on YouTube. Go subscribe to those guys. They made a really cool video. Also check out
Pro Wrestling Empire. You want to subscribe to them because you never know who's going to show up.
Pro Wrestling Empire. You heard it. You heard it here.
Yeah. On YouTube.
Titan Championship Wrestling. Ask who would be a great heavyweight champion. Johnny Moran's getting a lot of love there. But Titan, I know a guy here too that he'll show up. He'll show up and
Yeah.
he'll wrestle anybody.
Were they talking just champion or just the people that you like to see in Titan?
I think who would they like to see to be the first heavyweight champion
Oh, okay.
of Titan? So whoever's the first one, that's fine. But if you ever need a challenger,
But who's the next? That's the question.
who's the next? Right? Andy Hedder's always there for
That's right.
booking. And if Andy Hedder comes, I can come and do whatever.
Yeah.
I'll help out whatever I can.
Other
as
people
well.
can come as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pro Wrestling Empire. Make sure you subscribe to that. There's only 380 subscribers, so if we can get that up a little bit. For 'em.
Absolutely, yeah. Share that in the
Help-
page
help
after we
them
get out
out.
here. Let's think that's all I got right now. So yeah, go show love to those guys. Big thing with the community page too is I'm trying to encourage talent to go on there and show their merch pages and stuff. Please, if you're sharing your merch pages, your podcast, your group pages, anything pro wrestling related, give it a share on our group page, man. We're all about trying to put other people over. I know it says the Tornado Tag Podcast, but we're all about working with people and helping them out and getting their stuff over. So please share your stuff in there. You're letting us share in your communities and your group pages. It's only that's how we operate. All right.
One thing I did see, I don't know if it's on a group page or not. If not, I can try to put it on there after the show. Backbreakers is now on Pro Wrestling Tees.
Oh,
Backbreakers
wow.
Academy.
Oh, I didn't know
Nice.
that. That's cool.
Nice.
So you can probably get the logo. The Backbreakers logo is pretty cool.
Mhm.
They were,
is.
They were on Fight TV, so they got a couple episodes. I forget what the show's called. Chasing the Dream or something, I believe it's called.
This fucking long sleeve. I might have to step away for a
Oh,
second.
I
change.
absolutely hate
I'll
long
be right
sleeves.
back.
So while you
Um,
step away,
Yeah.
I got news in me head.
Go ahead.
So, Brian, did you see Wrestle Kingdom going to be 2 nights again this year? Well, next
Yes,
year.
I did.
Next year. So, like, with the president out, what's his name, Harold Mage, and the new guy in, forget his name,
Mhm.
it will AEW people be there? I say yes.
I would think so. I would unless it's still a thing where the pandemic's really bad and
yeah.
Japan doesn't really want Americans in their country. Then I could see that being an issue. I could also see maybe Naito has to defend the IWGP title one night and the Intercontinental title the next night, or the other way around, and that's how they split up the titles again. Maybe Kota wins one, but Naito keeps the IC
That's what
title.
I'm thinking. You got to get that IC. If you can get that off and put that on Sonata, I think that would be.
That would be a
the
really
best,
good move.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then have him do that, or even put it on Okada if you're going to do that. But they're obviously doing Okada.
Yeah.
Great O'Con.
I also saw that. I think by the Dome we're going to get Okada and Ospreay again.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah, definitely.
And then I also saw that they're going to have, I think they said 20,000 fans each night.
Yeah.
And
half
I think the
capacity.
best thing I saw so far today on Japanese wrestling is, and you have to see this, Ricky Choshu has discovered TikTok.
Wow. How about that? I have to look that up, even though I don't have the TikTok and I don't really want it. But I'm excited. For
I don't have it either. I saw it
Yeah.
on Twitter.
for 2 nights of Wrestle Kingdom again.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say if there's no travel restrictions, Moxley, Lance Archer, Brody Lee, Rusev, and maybe the Bucks and Kenny Omega.
You think so?
That'd be nice.
Yep. Well,
Right.
maybe. Yeah. I mean, they want Kenny. So, or maybe like after somebody has a match, then Kenny comes out. Oh,
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Kenny, Full Gear is shaping up to be a pretty good card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that's
it
gonna be a
is.
real good show.
I agree.
I got the matches in my head. You want to go over them?
Well,
Or
we'll
do you
wait.
wanna wait?
We'll wait till the
the
card
mind
is
grapes.
coming up that week, and then we'll go over everything. But I mean,
Yeah,
AEW
next week will be the go home.
yeah, absolutely. But good show overall. I do have an announcement. So, sorry, I got the beer burps ready. Our banner that's behind Andy there. We have our old banner, the Tornado Tag Podcast banner, just a logo with the microphone.
Mhm.
We're doing a giveaway. So if you have ordered merchandise from Tornado Tag Podcast, or any, we'll even open up to any of the podcasts. Go on our page and pick a number. Send us put a picture of you in your merchandise, and pick a number from 1 to 30, depending on how many people put in. If we fill all 30 numbers up, we're done. If not, everyone we're gonna go exact or closest to number, and we will send you the banner.
Oh, okay.
Now the banner, all the banners have nothing like on it except the Tornado Tag one has 2 garments already plugged into it, because we did use that at wrestling
up,
shows
so
to
you can
hang
easily
up.
hang
So
up,
there
just
is
hang-
there is 2
Hanging
garments
over
on
a
it.
little hook.
Yeah.
Or a little.
If you
nail.
wanted to wait a little bit and you could get 30 people, a great idea would be to give everybody a number, and whoever's
Rumble.
number wins the Royal Rumble gets the banner.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's a good one.
That would be fun too.
Because you think like a lot of people are like, oh, well, how do I know who I'm getting? Well, it doesn't matter who you're getting, because if Sheamus is number 5 and Sheamus wins the Royal
We
Rumble, for some
might do
reason,
that.
You win.
You know what? The other podcasts will do that. The other ones will keep that rule 1 to 30, but we're going to do it that way. So Rumble is coming up. So if you're a fan of the podcast and you're listening to this right now, pick a number from 1 to 30. First one to lock in gets their number.
Maybe
or
even
no.
we could sweeten the pot a little bit. And if Andy could take the banners to some shows, get it signed by a few wrestlers too.
There you go.
Yeah, we could try that as well. We'll get some people to sign it and stuff, and we'll give away the banner, and we'll do a WrestleMania giveaway. Either that, or if you want to be entered into it, we'll just say yes, and then we'll randomly pick your number and give you a number, and we'll put
'cause
everyone's.
we don't know who's.
Yeah, we'll put because this way, if someone says, "Oh, I'm the first in, I want 30."
Yeah,
Yeah.
or if you if you're picking by names.
We can even go live and do a drawing. Make
Yeah,
it fun.
there we go.
Yeah, that's how we'll do it. We're gonna do the giveaway with Royal Rumble. So if you want to be in it, say yes. The live chat is open now. If you want to get your name in now, that's how we're gonna do it. And this banner that you see behind Andy may be going up for a giveaway as well soon. Hey Alex, what's going on, buddy? Alex Watt, everybody from
It's
Camp.
like, I want to be in the Rumble.
Yeah, so
The banner Rumble.
The banner that's behind Andy will be going up
I'm trying to
pretty soon as well, because
Royal.
we got a new logo coming.
Bumble. I can't think of.
Yeah,
it.
we have a new
New
logo
logo, yeah.
coming. It's going to be R3. So if you've seen the Truth Behind Illusion logo, where it's little cartoons of us as monsters,
Mm-hmm.
it's very similar to that. That's all I'm going to say. So you're going to see R3
Done
faces.
by the same person. I forget.
Done
her-
by
What's the name of her art page?
Clover. Hold on,
Let's
I'll pull
plug
it
that
right
real
now.
quick.
Texas Cloverleaf.
Texas
Texas Cloverleaf.
Done by Texas Cloverleaf on the Double Cross Ranch.
So if you Bewitched in Clover Designs, it's on Instagram, and you can just add Tori on Facebook. She is fantastic. She's our artist. She's on Truth Behind Illusion with me and Andy. She's on Not Cool in High School. She's absolutely phenomenal. She's a great fan and great supporter of the podcast.
And she makes logos and
Yeah, she
designs
makes
for people.
she makes
takes
logos and
commissions,
designs,
So
and she does commissions. So if you want to get cool art for yourself, if you're a professional wrestler or a podcaster and you're looking for really cool art,
yeah, our business.
our business, anything, just hit her up and she'll definitely work with you and get you some cool stuff. But our new logo is going to be coming soon. That'll be our official logo. And then we'll give this banner away. We'll take it and have the Sambo Show guys sign it.
Okay, yeah.
We'll do it with this one too. We'll get both of them signed by people, and we'll do giveaways.
There we go.
It'd be fun. Yeah, so we'll
What could
have
be
that.
for the women's rumble?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ooh, one for the Brian. You are all
We'll
about
get the
it.
ladies to sign it.
The ladies.
I'm a visionary.
The
I'm a genius.
ladies rumble and the men's rumble. So if you want to be in, say you're in, and we'll put you in for both.
You get 2 different numbers.
You get 2 different
Or maybe
numbers,
you get the same. Who knows?
and we'll do that. You get a random number. I like that. That's fun.
Yeah, there we go. But what about the NXT Rumble now?
Oh God, I don't have enough banners. Yeah.
They're just have 3 of every gimmick match on every
Yeah,
show
that's
now.
the
We're
new
gonna have
thing
an
from
NXT
now
rumble
on.
too.
Yeah.
3 TLC matches.
So
3
if-
Survivor Series matches.
If you,
Although I used to do that.
if you want to get merchandise from us, or if you don't want to wait for it and you want to get your own banner, you can get that with T-shirts, mugs, hats, fanny packs. It's all there. Go over to our Teespring below and grab some merchandise.
Hell yeah.
All right. The This week in wrestling history.
One other piece of news,
Go
really,
ahead.
really
Go
quick,
ahead.
is they just announced today they're going to do a long form, like multi-episode documentary on Netflix about Vince McMahon.
Yeah. how
Bill
about that?
Simmons from formerly ESPN, now he's on The Ringer. He's going to executive produce. The guy who did the Fire Festival is going to be directing it. The Fire Festival documentary on Netflix.
As long as it's not WWE making it, because obviously they're going to be telling a one-sided story.
Yeah, Bill Simmons is like friendly with them, so I'm sure it won't be like the true story. But
Yeah.
Bill Simmons executive produced the Andre documentary on HBO, which is pretty good though.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, 30 for 30 did the Ric Flair one.
Yeah.
That too, yeah.
Yeah. Don't expect a scathing, which you know, I just
Yeah.
want one
Vince
that's
McMahon is well.
yeah. I mean, he is, but I would want right down the middle. You know,
Yeah.
like tell it like it happened.
Yeah, he's definitely done a lot of great things for pro wrestling, but he's also holding some things back as well right now.
And done a lot of bad things.
Yeah. So
Hence-
and
hence
the
Matt Riddle, who lost his first name.
Yeah, Matt Riddle lost his that's news.
Riddle.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
now just Riddle. So no
Conor
more Matt.
McGregor is now going to be just McGregor.
Yeah. There is interesting things going on now with the whole union thing. A lot of people are
Oh, the horrible stable from 2001.
No.
Yeah, Ken Shamrock, the Big Show.
Yeah.
No, a
Mankind.
lot of pretty big names in WWE are pretty much
trying to
are
Paige.
trying
Well, I think.
Paige, Selena Vega.
Oh wow, Celine, wow.
Yeah, I guess they're all like retweeting Paige's thing, and
Good.
a lot of people are trying to
Well,
say
here's
like
the thing.
they want change.
They're saying that they don't want to pay health
benefits.
insurance because they're independent contractors. But
And they can't-
independent contractors can do whatever they want. They can work for this person. They work for that person. Like you hire a plumber.
Yep.
He pays his own health insurance, but no one. He doesn't. He's not contracted. Like, oh, you can only fix this guy's toilet.
Yep.
You know.
So that's our whole thing is
Yeah.
you're telling us we're independent contractors and we
But we're
can't go
not.
work for other places, and now you're telling us we can't have our own Twitter, we can't have our own social media, we can't make money off wishing somebody a happy birthday on Cameo, we can't game stream, we
and
can't
right now the house shows are
we
down.
can't get sponsored by a drink company.
Yeah, so they're not making the house show money. And they're not really making all that merch money. Yeah, still making merch off the website. But
Yeah. So a lot of people are like, yo,
it's
yo.
very crooked.
They're trying to take over their Cameos and their Twitch accounts and say,
that's wrong.
so if Paige, if you made $75,000 this week on Twitch, we're taking that out of what we would pay you,
Yeah.
and we keep that money and then just give you what you've earned.
That's
on
ridiculous.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, because they're doing nothing right now, and they're like, they could be like, oh, they're living off Paige's name. No, people are watching it because of how she looks.
Now,
So,
well,
like-
here's the thing too.
Like, it don't matter if she leaves tomorrow and she's Soraya, she's still gonna get them still. Same viewers.
Absolutely. Now, here's the thing. A lot of you, there is the argument to be made that they would not have the notoriety they would have by being in WWE, but also the whole reason they were signed by WWE is because they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
So, if you look at somebody like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, the Lakers can't sit around and say, well, LeBron James, we own all your likenesses. LeBron's like, no, fuck you.
Do you think the Green Bay Packers going to cut of these Aaron Rodgers State Farm commercials?
Yeah.
And they shouldn't.
Yeah.
You
They
know,
should.
and
That's
Exactly.
it's ridiculous.
You know why?
that's-
Because the football players have a union. That's why.
Yep.
Mhm.
So that
I
it's-
support it. I mean,
I support it as well.
Paige is probably on the way out of there as soon as her contract's up. But hey, if she can get some change while she's there, that'd be great.
It's a bullshit system, and I
Mhm.
hope that's in that documentary.
And
Yeah, probably won't be.
Jesse Ventura had the right idea. And if we have a crowd at WrestleMania, like if they're moving it to Tampa, like the plan is maybe, and they're going to have a full crowd, you do what Jesse Ventura wanted to do, but Hogan ran out of the mountain that got squashed back in the day. You go to Vince the day before WrestleMania or the day of WrestleMania, say, here's this collective bargaining agreement, sign it or we're not going on.
Yeah.
Touche. I agree. It needs to change. It needs to change. And regardless of where you may stand on the WWE or the NXT or the AEW or the Impact or the ROH, that's a cool. It's a cool thing. AEW is not unionized, but they're also telling people, hey, we'll work with you, and if you want to go work for other companies and go work independence and still
Yeah.
go do all your thing, and if you we'll help you get your T-shirt things up, but if you sell a T-shirt, that's your money.
Yeah. It's not.
Well,
like,
even there, I think even they should be like places that shouldn't be unionized are like genuine independent contractors, like a lot of indies where
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you're working for Outbreak, and maybe I'm wrong here, they're gonna say, well, you can only work for us, like
yeah.
yeah,
Sometimes like indie places try to do that. I'm like, I'm not under a contract, so go fuck yourself.
right,
Like,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
you know, like,
Yeah.
imagine calling your electrician in and he fixes, your line. He puts in a ceiling fan for you, and then you say to him, "Well, you can't go fix the neighbors. You can only fix my stuff."
Yep.
That's outrageous.
That's
So-
I agree. But yeah, so that's starting to gain some steam. It's not just one or two.
And that Andrew Yang is very much behind that. So
Yeah.
he's a big. If Biden wins, not to get political, he's going to really look into that and help the.
He would-
try
If,
to get
Biden, if
unionized.
Biden wins, he could very well be the Secretary of Labor, which would be a huge thing. And if
Yep.
it's not him being the Secretary of Labor, it could be Bernie Sanders, which would be kind of the same thing.
Yeah, he pretty much. If Democrats get in, Yang is going to have some type of authority or say in what can possibly happen when it
Yeah.
comes to unions.
And it's only good for the wrestlers.
in
I mean,
in
WWE
this
makes
field.
so much money. Like,
Yeah.
they could.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. I'm personally not super political, but it is something to keep an eye on when it comes to even if you're not political, it's something that this election can impact what we think, even what we know as professional wrestling on the big level.
Yeah.
It's not, we're not trying to get political, but it is something that is related to the topic we are
Yeah.
talking about.
Like, I don't think MLW should pay your like if you get hurt in the ring, yes.
Yeah.
But, like, they shouldn't pay your health benefits, but WWE 100%.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should be like if your company makes X amount of dollars, then you should be
they
responsible
have so
for your
much
workers.
income, and they got
I mean,
what?
it
20
also depends on like how they're treating you. Are they treating you like an employee? Like Andy's saying, like if you're bringing a guy in to wrestle and like, okay, you're wrestling for us tonight, you're getting paid this much. You know, that's an independent contractor.
Yep.
You know, you bring in a plumber, you're paying that plumber so much an hour, but that plumber's not exclusive to you.
Yep.
That plumber's you're being contracted to do a job for you. He's not your employee.
It
Yeah.
would be very interesting. I know we talked about it a while ago when AEW first hit the scene. You're like, man, what if we get a world where people can kind of be actual independent contractors, and you may see somebody one week on Raw and the next week in Japan and the next week on AEW. If they're not willing to sign these union agreements and political parties get involved, it may open up their contracts that may be a thing
Yeah.
where they could be like, I'll be here for a couple months or a couple weeks,
Okay.
and
They're like,
then I
okay,
jump over
yeah,
there for a couple
great.
weeks.
You don't want to. We're independent contractors. You don't want to pay the health insurance. All right. Well, I'm going to go here and I'm going to go there.
Which I'm for.
Yeah. I mean, they would be like, but then when they did use it, they would treat like shit. But then everyone would just leave. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It would put
they
everybody.
got
on
to
a-
get that out of that old school mindset.
It would put everybody on an even playing field, and we would get some pretty cool dream matches.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like Cena's like, hey, just for tonight, you're gonna pay me what to go over and
Yeah.
wrestle Kenny Omega
Yeah.
on AEW? Like,
So it's like, I don't know.
yeah,
Do you wanna-
Bigger companies like that, I think they would bite the bullet and treat their workers like employees.
they would have to. If they don't, this
You
is
would
what
think so.
this is where we can end up. It's something to think about. Just put it out there. It should be very interesting. Or
Mhm.
they could even leverage that in contracts now. Be like, hey, if you're not going to do it, my next contract, I want to be able to
Yeah.
free roam.
Yeah.
You know, and it would make very interesting television because you never know who's going to show up
or,
anywhere.
Or if they're like, well, we only have 2 months, well, then I want a contract that's 2 months.
Yeah. The last bit of news, and then we'll get into this week in wrestling. Thank you, Jen, for the share and hey, what's going on. The Thunder Rosa losing her title.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting
Yeah.
turn of events.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going there. To Serena Deeb, who I don't
Well,
not a wise choice, I would say, but yeah, what's gonna happen? Billy Corgan said that she's still under contract till 2021. but-
2021, and then Dave Meltzer
Through the
reported,
end of 2021,
Yeah.
he
Oh,
said.
wow. That's a
Meltzer
long
reported
time.
she's going WWE, but then retracted it.
Yeah, well, like she ain't going anywhere. She's under a contract. But
Yeah.
at least NWA and AEW are working together, and like she's not really wrestling anywhere for NWA right
It is
now.
really weird that
So maybe Billy Corgan will be like, well,
did she drop
could-
it on a filmed show?
no. So
It wasn't it an pay-per-view? It was like that thing that what Dave Marquez is doing.
yeah,
Or
I
they've
don't,
been
was
doing
that
like a
film,
show
was
a
that
week?
live?
But here's the thing:
Well, here's the thing.
you have the access to defend your championship on TNT television.
yeah, why wouldn't you do
and
that?
you drop one of the best female
Yeah.
wrestlers on the planet right now to this.
Well, I guess it's technically their show. It's not Power, but
It's interesting.
eh.
It's a
So,
it's
so
a
they
very
did
awkward move.
record the AW match knowing the outcome, even though it was last week.
Yeah,
But then, like on the show, they're like, she wrestled last night and she got on a plane and flew right here to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Sure she did.
yeah. It's an interesting move. It's a really interesting move.
Yeah.
It was very cool to see Layla Hirsch in AEW though.
Yeah. So
She was on Bloodsport, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. They had a women's tournament, and
is
she
that the
wound up
MMA
losing
girl
the
she
first
wrestled?
round.
The wrestling MMA girl or whatever.
Well, she has an
She
MMA
re-
type of gimmick.
no, she fought. I forget the girl's name. She fought. A lot of tattoos. She wound up winning the whole thing, and then Allison Kay fought Killer Kelly, who used to be in
Okay,
NXT UK.
Interesting.
Yeah, so Layla Hirsch, she looks like a smaller, thicker Ronda Rousey.
Heading to Salem tomorrow. I'm excited to know. I know it's off topic, but I wanted to share that. Well, that's awesome.
That's cool, Jen. Have fun.
Unfortunately,
It's a nice place.
we were supposed to go to Eastern State Penitentiary this weekend, but because Philadelphia is on fire and it's not a great place to be, we decided not to go to Philadelphia. So we're looking to go just to the Renaissance Fair for the day and still hang out as a group but not go to Philadelphia because everything's going on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we're not doing Eastern State Penitentiary now. So that's kind of a bummer.
Oh well, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, who knows?
I don't think they're gonna burn that down.
It is Philly.
Yeah, but it's that's
Sorry,
that,
Brad.
that prison.
Bad things happen in Philadelphia.
That prison was built to last. Hence why it's still there.
Yeah. Yeah. So unfortunately, we will not be doing an Eastern State Penitentiary episode anytime soon.
Well, not on this show. We weren't going to do it.
Yeah, not on this show, but on Truth Behind Illusion, which is Monday night at 9:00. So check that out.
Here we're gonna do an Eastern Championship Wrestling State Penitentiary.
Yeah, that's what we are gonna do. The USO Eastern State Penitentiary.
From whatever penitentiary Nails was from.
Yeah. All right. Anything else news-wise? Did anything else pop in? Anybody?
I think that's everything.
There is some news, but we can't talk about it yet. Some independent news maybe soon.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, but,
Well, let's say major news. I don't know of anything else really that popped up in the past couple days.
yeah.
Well, one thing I'll spoil another thing from Camp Leapfrog. If you stay at the very end of the credits, they will return in Leapfrog Live, Sam Laterna's Slumber Party.
Oh wow.
Nice. Interesting how they're going to do that with because it's going to be outdoors and it'll be very cold.
Wow.
Yeah.
Space Heaters.
Maybe they have it indoor. Maybe they have a building. Who knows?
Who knows? Maybe they do. I'm all about it, man. I want as much Camp Leapfrog as we can get. If you're looking for, I don't want to say traditional wrestling, but it is very campy. It is very corny. It's fun. It's having fun with your craft. It's not meant to be taken seriously.
It was pro wrestling as a schlocky 1980s horror movie, and we'll get into it more on Sunday.
It was a great show. I had a blast with it. A lot of cool names. A lot of interesting people showed up. I can't say who.
Well, you probably could because it just debuted on.
Oh, and it's all over their Instagram and stuff too.
Yeah.
So yeah. So if you want, we're not going to spoil it. You can go over and subscribe to High Tension Wrestling on Instagram.
It's not an emergency to say what it was. You don't have to dial any numbers.
Yeah,
just go to their Instagram.
Yeah, go to their Instagram and you can see it through them and make sure you like it and say Tornado Tag Podcast sent to you if you're not already subscribed. But yeah, we will do a full review on Sunday. Not exactly sure the time yet because we are doing a banging beer sometime on Sunday, but we'll collaborate it. I may be a little drunk on it. Who knows? We'll figure it out. It won't be Sunday night though because you have to watch your birds pick apart some Cowboys.
One of the few times a year that Tony and I can agree on football was last week for his team and this week for my team.
Yeah. I'm an Eagles fan this week. That's about it. That's all I got to say about that. All right, let's get into this week in wrestling history.
And oh boy, do we have something to start with here. This is from 27 years ago, Tuesday. It was October 27th, 1993.
How much
the
of this,
infamous?
How much do you have this? How much of this do you have memorized?
Quite a bit. I did kind of do some research on this one, just going through some shoot interviews to get everybody's side of the story. But a lot of the details I had it memorized. The infamous scissor fight.
Yes, Arn Anderson, Sid Vicious in the hotel.
Oh, I went. My brain went somewhere else with this. I thought you were talking about a promo.
Oh no, that is not here. There's actually a video we may have somewhere where I did a version of this promo.
Nice.
15 years ago.
Was that actually yesterday though?
Was it yesterday?
Was it today?
Well, I don't know when they taped it, but I think it was supposed to be 20 or 35 years ago today. The Hard Times promo.
Okay.
Yeah. Great promo by the way. If it's on our page right now, but it's hands down probably one of the best promos of all time.
A
lot of people consider it the best Dusty promo, and that's saying something. Because he was one of the best talkers ever.
I also wanted to do that as a Halloween costume. That hair with the glasses and that blue suit. Hard times, Daddy.
Hard time blues.
Yeah, I will take you through this hard time blues.
Well, if you ever
Your hand is touching my hand.
If you ever maybe make it to Camp Leapfrog, that could be your gimmick.
Dusty Rhodes. It's not fun.
They have bodysuits.
Yeah.
Hey.
I think if Andy makes it to Camp Leapfrog, it's gonna be like somewhere else playing D&D with a bunch of people. Camp sucks. I'm playing this.
Yeah.
I have to sleep where? I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So the scissor fight.
Yeah, this happened in Blackburn in the UK in England. It was a WCW European tour. The wrestlers had a long flight to England. They immediately did a show. They got off the plane. They got on a bus. They went to an arena. They wrestled after 8 hours on a plane. Then they got in another bus and traveled across the UK, across England, to get to their hotel. They're drinking all the way. They're partying all the way. Everybody's 3 sheets to the wind. Everybody's pissed because of the travel and having to work that night. So at the end of the night, a bunch of wrestlers are still at the hotel bar. Vader's there, Sid's there, Arn's there, Two Cold Scorpio's there, Steve Austin's there, Stunning Steve. And they're starting to talk about how business isn't doing so good because at this point, the wrestling business as a whole is down, like right in the middle of the steroid scandal. Even WWF is hurting, but
like
WCW is
91,
really
right?
hurting.
It was 91 or 92?
93.
Oh, 93. Okay, well.
Is October 93. And so Vader goes to bed, Too Cold goes to bed, and eventually Sid just goes, the reason things are so bad right now is because these old people like Ric Flair won't get out of the way of the new talent.
Uh-oh.
And that just, Austin loves Ric Flair, so Austin's pissed at him. Arn's really pissed because that's his best friend. One thing leads to another. Arn throws a drink at Sid, and he breaks a beer bottle. He's threatening him with a jagged glass. And everybody comes in to break it up. They send everybody to their bedrooms, like sleep it off. And so Sid in his bedroom starts breaking a chair. There's a wooden chair in his room. He starts breaking it, and he gets a chair leg, and he goes to Arn's room. He knocks on Arn's hotel room door, and he's like, "Look, I don't want to end tonight on that kind of terms. Let's like just basically hug it out, for lack of a better term." He didn't literally say that, but he like let's make peace. So according to most stories, Arn opens the door and Sid hits him with the chair leg. Sid said he threw the chair leg away and he just hit him. So they're fighting. They're fighting in the hotel room. Arn was trimming his beard and he had a pair of safety scissors. So he stabbed Sid in the gut with the scissors. Stabbed him a few more times. Sid winds up getting the scissors off of Arn and he stabs him about 20 times. He almost killed Arn. Arn got the worst of it. And eventually, this wakes up Too Cold. This wakes up Vader. According to Too Cold's story, he hears all this noise, and Vader has a reputation. And Too Cold wakes up. He's like, "Oh, what the fuck did Vader do now?" and so he goes to Vader's door, and he hears Vader snoring. So he goes to see what's up. Too Cold breaks up the fight. He just yells to Sid, "You're going to kill him. You're going to kill him." And he tends to Arn, and then Vader tends to Sid. Vader said he actually had to take his thumb and stick it in the hole in Sid's stomach to slow down the bleeding. So they both wind up in the hospital, obviously. They both lived, obviously, but Sid kind of took the...
No charges pressed, and no one was arrested for attempted murder.
Well, they probably would have pressed charges if they were staying there, but they were both going back to the U.S. anyway. Neither guy wanted to press charges. Sid said he did because he heard Arn didn't really get hurt, but then like he said a nurse came into his room at the hospital. He said, "Your friend's in really bad shape."
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, so they just didn't make any charges because they're just going back to the U.S. anyway. Arn was off TV for a while. I think they may have fired him for like a few weeks, but he was back pretty quickly. He was back wrestling by Super Brawl the next year. Sid got fired, and that was the big thing that happened here was Sid was about to win the world title. This happened in late October.
How did this guy get so many world titles?
Because he was 6'6" and he was jacked.
Yeah.
My God.
And he
so yeah, he was supposed to turn babyface and beat Vader for the title, but with him gone, they wound up doing probably the best angle in WCW history, where Flair puts his career on the line in Charlotte. And if you watch Starrcade '93, you'll see little like 6 or 7 year old Charlotte Flair at the house. Because they drive the limo to the arena. Probably one of the best WCW matches ever. If you watch Starrcade '93.
What's the one where they recreated at Mania where he flies the helicopter in and gets off the helicopter in his gear?
That was a Great American Bash show. I don't know if that was in Philly or not. It was because they used to do the Great American Bash wasn't always just a show; it was a tour. And there was one thing. It might have been at the Vet in Philly or at the old JFK Stadium, where they land a helicopter on the field, and he gets out of the helicopter. I think it might have been a match in Philly against Road Warrior Hawk, but I'm not sure.
That's crazy. Yeah,
that give it Charlotte. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they recreated Charlotte Mania.
That was totally recorded live.
Yeah, that totally happened exactly at that point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good entrance. I mean, it's funny that was Charlotte's entrance. Ronda had Joan Jett play her music live.
Yeah.
And Becky just came out normal, and she's the one who walked out with
Yeah.
both belts.
Well, that's like when you would have like WrestleMania 14 where they had that DX band play Shawn Michaels out, and Austin just comes out in his vest and his shit-kicking boots, and he's winning the title.
Yeah. Well, isn't that no? That wasn't when Stone Cold had the actual glass shatter.
That was the year before. That was WrestleMania 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Bret Hart.
That was when he wrestled Bret.
Yeah, crazy stuff. It was a good swerve, though. As a wrestling fan, you're like, oh, if someone's getting this elaborate entrance, 9 times out of 10, one of them's getting it.
Yeah.
One of them's.
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's a swerve. Everybody knew Becky was winning that match.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, at WrestleMania, everyone should have a big, huge entrance.
I agree. I think everyone's entrance.
It's
should be
WrestleMania.
different. Poppy was back for Io Shirai's entrance this week.
How was she?
Yeah.
Poppy.
And then that cool guitar solo at the very beginning for Damian Priest.
Damian Priest. I'm so confused with his gimmick, though.
He's a vampire that likes to party.
We didn't even talk.
Shotzi had several costume changes.
Yeah, Shotzi looked good, though. I'm not going to lie. I thought she looked good.
That was a very form-fitting suit she was wearing at the very beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, she was. I'm a fan of. Heidi got her hair dyed again.
Yeah.
Not as dark, not as bright as Shotzi's, but it's
dark,
green.
yeah.
So I'm a fan
Many
of it.
shades different.
I know we kind of skipped it. Overall, Halloween. Both shows. AEW had a great show this week. NXT Halloween Havoc was fun. Some of the stuff was kind of campy and corny, but
The haunted house match.
But it was it's what was needed for Halloween Havoc. I thought it was because of the theme of the show. I thought it was fun.
Yeah. I didn't get to see, so I can't.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun show.
I think as long as they would have had spin the wheel and make the deal, everyone would have been happy.
Yeah, and they did it 3 times, which is good.
Twice.
Was it twice? I thought they did it. Yeah, you're right. It was only twice. Yeah. No, they did it. You're right, twice.
Once for Gargano, once for Candice, right?
I thought they did it a third time. I thought they did it for Damian Priest and
John Gargano.
That was the first time.
Yeah.
And then the EO match was the second time.
Okay.
The haunted house match was just a haunted house match.
Gargano won because someone came out in a scream mask and helped him win.
Yeah.
We don't know who it was. So that's
The rumor is Indy Hartwell, but they didn't unmask her because she might have COVID and she might have been one of the people that wasn't on the show.
Oh, interesting.
Oh boy.
I thought it was
Apparently, there's another COVID outbreak in the performance center.
A lot of people said it looked like a guy at first,
It
but
did
then
look like a
later
guy.
on it looked like
It
a
did.
girl.
I thought the first time was going to be Ciampa,
Yeah, well, it makes sense. So,
but then he did the babyface thing against the Dream, so I guess it's not going to be him.
Yeah, I guess because Gargano's heel, so keep them 2 apart.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Next thing in wrestling history.
Well, it's funny you bring up Halloween Havoc, Tony, because the next 2 things we have today, actually the 29th, we had 2 very famous Halloween Havocs. Not maybe the best ones, but they were very notable.
How many
25?
How many total Halloween Havocs happened?
Maybe 10, maybe.
11, I think. They started in '99. The last one was in 2000, and then the one they did today.
Was every Halloween Havoc had the wheel?
No, only 2 did.
No.
Back in the early 90s, like 91, 92, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, 92 and 93 was Jake and Sting was the first one, the coal miner's glove match, and then the next year was Vader and Cactus, and it was a Texas death match.
Okay. I got to go back and watch.
Some of them are pretty good. The older.
I have to go back and watch. There's a lot of ECW I've never seen, and there's a lot of WCW I've never seen. So hopefully, doing more of this, getting away from weekly reviews and doing more history things and picking topics will be like, hey, we're gonna watch this pay per view or we're gonna talk about this event, so I can go back and watch. That kind of stuff. So
if you're gonna watch a Halloween Havoc, and there was actually a tribute to this on this Halloween Havoc. One of the ones I would recommend going out of your way to see would be, and I'm trying to look up the year here, the one with the Eddie Guerrero Rey match.
Mysterio,
Yeah, 95.
Where Ray wore the full suit,
95 or
the
96.
purple bodysuit.
Yeah, the Phantom. Yeah.
I think it was 96.
96,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was. Maybe it was 97.
Really?
No, Malenko wrestled Ray wrestled Malenko in 96. I think it was 97.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's a great match.
Couldn't get Michael Hayes for In Your House, but he showed up for Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, it was Mysterio against Eddie, title versus mask, and the tights that Santos Escobar was wearing were basically a direct tribute to Ray's tights.
Oh, okay. The Phantom. Yeah, that's cool.
Which is funny because the Phantom, and then he was Hijo del Fantasma.
Oh yeah.
But
how about that?
Listen to some of the matches on this show. You had Ray and Eddie, which is a classic. You had Yuji Nagata against Ultimo Dragon.
I always
Chris
loved Ultimo Dragon.
It was great. Chris Jericho against Ghetto.
Wow.
And then you had other matches. Ric Flair and Kurt Hennig, which is probably good.
Talk
And
about
then you
those
had
guys
some
soon.
Yeah, probably had to be good.
Yeah, Randy Savage and DDP, they always worked well together.
That was probably real good. I haven't seen
And
this
then
in a while.
you had stuff like Jacqueline against Disco Inferno,
Yeah, oh boy.
Disco
Alex
Inferno,
Wright against
legend.
Mongo.
Oh.
And the main event is legendarily bad. It was the Age in a Cage match, Roddy Piper and Hogan.
Yeah.
It was the one Jim Cornette made fun of, like later on Raw.
Yeah, and
Here's
not good. And then I don't know, was Warrior Hogan a Halloween Havoc?
that was the next year. That was '98. That was the -5 stars Warrior Hogan match.
That's a bad one.
Really?
And
Yeah, it's real bad.
but that match, that show might have Goldberg's best match ever. DDP and
Oh
Goldberg.
yeah, that's
was really
true.
good.
Yeah, that's the one that actually went off the air, and they had to give it away for free on Nitro.
Really?
The
If you
night
watch
that
on
they
the
did
network,
that,
do they keep it all on there?
Yeah, it's all on the network now.
Yeah.
the night that they did that was the last night that WCW won the ratings.
Yeah, that was it.
Oh,
Imagine watching
wow.
the main event and just gets going. You're like, "Fuck, well, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win?" It's done. What just happened? What just happened? Like you just 5 more minutes left.
Wow. You pay for pay-per-view and don't even
Yeah.
get to see the end of it.
And there's also, I believe, one of them was Sting versus Vampiro. Where you
In
had
a, in a in a
it-
graveyard.
yeah,
I
it's a
did
great-
watch that match.
that one, and there's also they had another one. I don't know if it was Halloween Havoc. No, where you had to light your opponent on fire like Inferno.
Yeah, it was
But
called like the
wasn't-
Human Torch match.
Yeah, it wasn't an Inferno match. There was no fire, but you had to like physically get fire and then light your opponent on fire.
It was
Wow.
it was when they called it the Turnertron when Russo came in and they put the video screen there, like on the entrance.
Which looked
They
kinda
went
cool.
up on the top. They
Yeah.
went up on the top of it, and then Sting goes down, and then a very obvious stunt Sting comes up, and they light him on fire, and then he does like a big bump off the top of the thing, and then with like a gimmick part
Yeah.
of the stage, and then they put him out.
I'll tell you one thing I am really happy that NXT is doing, and I don't know if it's going to translate to live shows if they're going to keep doing it. I love the sets. I love the sets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Like the Halloween Havoc had a full set.
Yeah, they should do that. Like
It
they
was
they just
so
got lazy
good.
and make
So
the
good.
WWE one, then everything looks the same.
Yeah, dude. Like, and they use a set. Like Damian Priest got thrown through a catacomb, like a tomb,
Yeah,
and
Mhm.
came out all dirty and dusty.
a
like
mausoleum.
yeah, mausoleum. It's I don't know, like the giant pumpkin
They
was
should have
there.
threw him through, and then the Yeti could have came out.
Yeah.
The Yeti did come out,
Oh,
kind
really?
of.
The Yeti.
Backstage, they did a promo with Drake Maverick where he's like acting like he's Hulk Hogan. He's like Hollywood Hogan. And then they have a really tall guy with like old school, the giant, like long-haired Paul
Yeah.
White giant. He comes in, and then from behind, the Yeti comes in.
That's
And it's
awesome.
just two big guys, and they just surround Drake Maverick and do the thing where like the Yeti and the giant were dry humping Hulk
Yeah.
Hogan.
Oh man.
And then Killian Dane comes in as the Shockmaster, but he doesn't fall down. And Drake Maverick gets all mad because he messed it up. He's like, yeah, I didn't want to do that. And he puts the Shockmaster helmet on Drake, and Drake walks off and just trips and falls.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was a fun show.
But,
it was good callbacks. It was a good like retro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you bring up the Yeti because the first Halloween Havoc we're talking about here, which was 25 years ago today, October 29th, 1995, was where we did get the Yeti.
The Yeti.
Which was played by.
Ron Rice.
Ron Reese, yeah. He
Yeah,
was
Reese.
a big dude trained by Big John Studd. He was in Raven's flock for a little bit.
I believe he was a legit 6 or 7'6".
And he
or
just went by
7'7".
he just went by Reese, correct?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
Was not
I'd never seen him wrestle, but I just remember him from the video game because
Yeah.
I love the flock.
WCW Revenge, yeah.
Yep.
He was
And
just
Halloween
huge.
Havoc was my favorite venue to pick.
Yeah, it was pretty cool with that Phantom guy.
Bash in the Beach was a cool
pumpkin.
one, cool
Yeah.
looking one too. From the video game anyway. I never actually
Yeah.
seen
They were all real sets.
Yeah.
The video game based
Mhm.
on.
So the one thing this show is probably even more well known for is the giant got thrown off the roof of Cobo Hall.
Mhm. After a monster
long-
truck fight.
Long before Baron Corbin
Hogan
was killing
killed him,
people,
right?
Hulk Hogan did.
Well,
yeah,
he
Hogan
tried to
killed
get
the guy.
help.
Yeah, he tried to help.
Yeah, they were fighting. He fell, and he's like, "Somebody help! I gotta get help!" And the giant came back, and he's fine.
Yeah, so they did have, like Andy was saying, they did a monster truck match where they had the Hogan monster truck and the Dungeon of Doom monster truck, and they were welded together. And you had to push your opponent's monster truck out of the circle.
Like
So
a
Hogan
sumo.
wins because it's Hogan.
They were cool
You
looking
can't-
monster trucks.
They
though.
were.
I actually
Yeah,
seen them in
they were.
person. There was a Hogan one, a Goldberg one, a giant one, right?
It had a Medusa one for a little bit.
And Medusa drove it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She became a monster truck driver. She wound up driving Bigfoot for a while, too.
They're actually the guy who used to drive the Batman monster truck is
Okay.
from Frackville. And he
Oh, wow.
in the Batman monster truck, he actually won like the monster truck championship.
Wow.
And he's from I could be wrong, but I think he's from School County or from Frackville.
There used to be a guy in Pottsville that Andy's Garage Ride 61.
Yeah.
They had Barefoot. Remember there was Bigfoot and there was the rival
Yeah.
Barefoot. They had
I was
Barefoot.
always obsessed with Bigfoot, obviously, and Gravedigger. And I remember
Gravedigger was like every kid loved Gravedigger.
yeah, we went to
Yeah.
a monster truck rally and they had Gravedigger, but they had the canopy taken off it, and you were strapped in the back, and they just took you out into a giant field filled with mud, and they just ripped
Yeah,
it
that's
around
awesome
and
when you're a
flung.
little kid.
Yeah.
It's awesome right now.
Yeah,
And then there was even job monster trucks. There was like USA 1 and the Carolina
Yeah.
Crusher.
yeah.
Like job monster that would lose all the time.
I went to one of those things at the Spectrum. It was when they had a show on well, in Philly it was on like what became UPN. It was the same
Okay, yeah.
station that like
WB
like,
and
Worldwide might have been on it or something. Yeah, and they had
Yeah.
Monster
was
Wars.
it WWOR? Was that one?
No, that was from New York. That was
Yeah,
like
okay,
Channel 9. This would have
yeah.
been Philly 57.
Okay.
Like I never watched WCW, but I was aware what they were doing because like you know what I mean, like keeping
Yeah,
up with a little
And
bit
looking
here
at
and there.
wrestling magazines.
And
And
yeah,
stuff.
so I remember I growing up in monster trucks. If you didn't know what Bigfoot and Gravedigger was, you were high. But when pro wrestling made its into monster truck, it was like, do you want to go to a monster truck rally this weekend? I'm like, oh, I hope the Hulk Hogan one's
Yeah.
there. You know what I mean? It was like it kind of made you want to go to like it crossed over.
Mhm.
It did exactly what it was supposed to do. Like it went to
remember.
another thing, and people who were
Even like
Oh, God.
recently, obviously before Corona and stuff, like my one friend was like, the monster trucks do insane business. Like
Yeah.
the stadiums.
Yeah, they
fucking
play
packed.
stadiums now. Yeah.
Yeah.
and they say it's a great time.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the Truckosaurus comes out.
I-
I couldn't
I-
name
I
one
had a fun
monster truck
time, yeah.
now. I mean, sure, Gravedigger's still around, Bigfoot, but like, man, I want a good monster truck video game. I don't think there is
That would
one.
have been fun.
Just crush cars.
Yeah, just
Dude, there's so
I
much.
had,
There's so much I
I had
want to
a
do
toy
when
I got
Corona's
for-
over.
I had a toy I got for Christmas one year, and it was a Bigfoot toy, and it was like a remote controlled monster truck, and it came with this mold where you had these like it looked like a car, but it was made out of tinfoil, and you would just press it down into this mold, and it looked like a car, and then you could drive your Bigfoot over the cars and
that's
crush
cool.
That is
That's
super
really
cool.
cool.
That's a good toy right
Like
there.
it was,
I'm
yeah,
not
it might have been
buying
like 6 or
tinfoil to
7.
waste it. I can see that.
You ain't wasting my tinfoil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it came with like the car molds, dude. So it looked like a car on the outside. It would be in the shape of a car too. It was fun.
That's so,
So
cool.
when
So-
everything gets back normal, I want to go to a monster truck
Let's
show.
do it.
I want to go.
Let's do it. I can't. There's so much.
I want to
stuff-
buy a T-shirt. I want it to be real gaudy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw the big show off a roof. It'll be
Yeah.
great.
There's a lot of things now that like when now that COVID hit, and it's like, man, once this is all over, like there's so many things I like that I would like. So many things that I would be like, that's stupid. I'm not going to do. But if someone's like, do you want to go do this? I'm like, yes. Yes.
I went to the destruction derby. I said, this is phenomenal.
Yeah, destruction derbies are awesome. Yeah,
They did the tractor pull. They had the quad races. They lit a
Yeah.
guy on fire and he jumped out of the rafters.
yeah, there's not much that you can invite me to after COVID's over that I
Man.
won't go to. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna experience it. I don't even care if I'm into it or not. Like, I'm gonna go. I want to see it. Like, I want to see it all because I don't know because this was all taken away at one point in time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like almost a whole year was gone
Yeah.
because of this.
Oh,
So,
it's not over yet either.
yeah, it's we'll see. Once the election's over.
That's what they say. Just
Oh,
magically
shut
ends.
up.
Once
Oh,
election-
now they're gonna magically have some kind of answer to it. Okay.
Wait.
Yeah. Whoever
wait.
wins just says, hey, Corona's over.
And then they're gonna be like, we did it. We saved the
Yeah.
economy.
Because you voted for me, I got rid of it.
Yeah. It's gonna happen, Brian. It's gonna happen.
Fauci saying we might get some semblance of normal in 2022.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
He'll be long dead.
Trump put a press release out. He said he's already beat it.
Well, yeah, they said it's over. Yeah, we're all good now.
He did. He
I
literally,
don't know why I'm
he-
not over there.
He put a list of accomplishments of what he's done in his
Have-
4
oh.
years, and one of them is defeating coronavirus. I mean,
Fearless
COVID.
leader said
yeah.
it's
Well,
over.
well,
It
he
must be
did.
over.
Yeah.
I bet that list is 80 pages long, what he did. And I did this. I did
And two
this.
things of it on it are true.
Yeah. I also did this.
Here we are, politics. This turned into murder.
Hey, but we're talking
So
about
anyway.
a WWE Hall of Famer.
we are This
Main
is
event at
technically-
WrestleMania.
Yep.
So, I mean,
Kicked Vince McMahon's ass.
yeah.
Joe Biden has no chance.
Yeah. Joe Biden wasn't at WrestleMania.
Joe Biden's never been at WrestleMania.
And he never will be.
But
Oh,
Joe
we
Biden
might,
was
but-
on the field when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, though.
Oh, there you
Joe
go.
Biden's kid has probably done as much drugs as the Iron Sheik.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody's done that. That's a high bar.
Yeah. Joe Biden never took McMahon's millions and
The
then gave
problem
it to the
is
fans.
Joe Biden's kid videotaped it and took photos of everything and
Oh,
then
boy.
put it on a laptop and then gave it
Well-
away to somebody.
Well, hey, he's not running for president.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
You know what he can do? You know who should run for president?
Andy Reid almost lost his job over his kid being a drug addict. Could you imagine?
Bob-
Could
Bob
you imagine the
Backlund.
standard of a president?
Bob Backlund should run for president again.
He
Yeah.
should. Yeah. At this point, like, you don't even need to put like The Rock. Why
Rock
not?
could have won. Rock would have run where? this time,
anyone can win
he could
politics
win,
at this
yeah.
point in time. Trump did the blueprint.
As
Anyone
long-
can win.
Yeah, as long as you're like have the following.
Yeah.
Now, if you're some guy from Shenandoah, you're probably not going to win.
Man, if
Maybe
you
we'll
get,
get the local vote.
if you get a big enough vote on it's Facebook, you might get it.
You're gonna get that pierogi vote from
Some,
there.
some
Yeah.
some whore with like whoever has the top OnlyFans, she should run.
I'd vote for her.
Yeah.
Make OnlyFans great again.
There you go.
Someone said OnlyFans. I don't agree with this, but they said OnlyFans is like the Wish.com version of Pornhub.
Well, no, because there's good stuff there. Like I'm sure there's bad stuff too. I'm sure, like there's probably like your neighbor.
Well, it's like
Pornhub
Pornhub meets Patreon, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think-
it's like anything.
I think everyone should support at least one OnlyFans.
I mean, I guess you want to.
Sure.
I wouldn't because like there's lots of porn for free.
There
Anyway,
is. But
this-
we're a podcast. There's a lot of podcasts that are for free. But someone
this is
bought a
true.
T-shirt for
Yeah,
us.
but I mean, yeah, but that's buying a T-shirt. That's not paying to listen to the show.
If one of us were to show our bare chest, would you buy more T-shirts? That's our question right now. No,
Oh boy.
it's never gonna happen.
All right,
Enzo Amore has an OnlyFans, but he doesn't. Obviously, it's not like.
There's
not,
people that have them that do not
yeah, there
do
is
nudity.
OnlyFans that are
Yeah,
that are
yeah.
not
sexual.
pornographic.
Sexual, yeah. All right, Brian. let's,
And you
get
don't
back
have to
on
look too
track
far
here.
to see pictures of Andy with no shirt on.
Yeah, I'll,
He wrestles quite a
yeah,
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start wrestling like shorter shorts.
Oh god.
Show off that booty. Been doing a lot of squats lately.
Yeah, no.
Squats and
Here's
deadlifts.
my ass.
Yeah.
So, by the way, somebody that's in amazing shape now is Pete Dunne. He leaned out
Wow.
like
That's what they
crazy.
said. I had to see a picture of him.
Yeah.
Oh, when I watch NXT, if they don't
So-
cut that out.
So you know who else looked really impressive? It's this weird. I mean, that's not weird saying it. Fuck it. I'm comfortable with my sexuality. I thought he looked good.
Kota Ibushi? What?
No, fucking what's his name? Cameron Grimes.
Yeah, he's a guy.
Okay.
No, but I mean, like,
Last time I seen him, I
Abs
thought he
and
had a little
shit.
bit of a belly.
yeah, he had abs when he was running down the street and stuff. Like he looked
Mhm.
good. He looked
Was
good.
all
I
that
didn't
running
see it.
away from the serial killer?
Yeah, and Pete Dunne looked fantastic. I don't know how much he put on some muscle, but he
Mhm.
also he's
He leaned
toned,
out
too.
a ton.
He leaned like
Oh,
he's
good.
defined. I mean, he
Nikki
didn't
Cross, I think, is leaned out a lot too.
yeah,
Yeah, that's why she started wearing when she would like take her one top off, like she had the small one on,
yeah,
because she's like,
showing
oh,
it
that's
off.
Fuck it,
fucking showing it
good
off.
for her.
Get it? Listen, if I start working out, I'm never wearing a shirt. I'll show stretch marks and
But
everything. I don't
like
give a
Brian
shit.
Cage. Brian Cage never wears a shirt, but I
Yeah.
guess if you look like that, you wouldn't either.
I wouldn't, dude. If I put that much time into a gym and I had that many muscles, I'm like, you're never kidding me.
Yeah, I ain't.
I'm gonna wear the tiniest shorts
Yeah.
ever. I'm gonna show everything off.
Look at that.
You're gonna be like, please, Tony, put a shirt on.
You're gonna be like Lex Luger when they complained that his tights were too small.
Yeah.
They don't come up far enough.
Yep.
What is this?
Your whole cheeks are hanging out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna wear. I'm wearing just cheeky underwear the whole time if I ever get in shape. Don't worry, everybody. I will probably never get in shape, so you're safe. You're safe with me. Loose skin and all.
Cheeky-
I'll just
cheeky underwear.
flapping
Oh,
around
boy.
everywhere. It'd be great.
All right. Well, what's next in the?
Yeah, we took a weird
So,
turn
so,
here.
so the giant wasn't dead. It turns out he was very much
Wow.
alive. I think one of the rumors is he was supposed to come out with a fish in his singlet, but they didn't do that.
Yeah. Because he fell in the
he-
river.
He was, even though the river's like a mile away from Cobo Hall, but he comes out later. He beats Hogan by DQ in the main event. It was actually his first WCW match.
Mm.
And Jimmy Hart turned heel. That's how Hogan lost. And he revealed that he is now the Giants manager. And he wrote it into the contract that the title could change hands on a DQ, so the Giant was a champion. But they wound up holding up the title, and it was put up for grabs in World War III and was won by Randy Savage.
Yeah.
Which is weird because you think about it. Hogan's a champion. He gets screwed over in a match with the Giant. The title gets held up, and Randy Savage wins it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That happened twice. Yeah. World War III, the 3-ring, 80-man battle royal.
60
60
man.
man. Yeah. Too much.
Yeah. You had to watch, like, they literally had a 3-way split screen and 3 different sets of announcers. Like, I can't follow this.
Yeah. How do we call this? There's guys getting eliminated every minute.
Like, one of the great things about the Royal Rumble is it's easier to follow than an actual battle royal.
Yeah. Because there's not that many guys there, and you're like, oh, okay, I can see.
Yeah,
what's
like,
going
you
on.
get, like, more than, like, say, 6 or 7 people. Like, they got to start throwing people out of this. This
Yeah.
is not good.
And then you have 3 rings with full payment. What is going on?
Yeah, that's too
So
much.
elsewhere on the show, the opener Johnny B. Bad beat DDP to win the TV title,
That's probably pretty good.
and that's probably pretty good. They had good matches. They were both those guys who like to plan out every move, especially DDP.
Yeah.
That's why DDP and Savage worked together well too, because Savage did the same thing. Savage beat the Zodiac in 90 seconds. Zodiac being Brutus Beefcake.
Yeah.
Yikes. That was a terrible gimmick.
Well,
Yes.
that's all
No.
guy had.
Yes. No. But then again, it wound up that he was a Hulkamania spy in a Dungeon of Doom. That was the payoff to that. And then he became the Booty Man.
The Buddha Man.
And then you had Kurosawa, Manabu Nakanishi on Excursion, beating Road Warrior Hawk. In his only WCW pay-per-view match, Sabu beat Mr. JL when the Sheik threw a fireball at Mr. JL. Mr. JL, obviously Jerry Lynn.
Yeah.
Lex Luger beat Ming by disqualification. Ric Flair and Sting beat Brian Pillman and Arn Anderson by DQ when Flair turned on Sting. This was a match where Flair begged Sting to be his partner because he was feuding with Arn and Pillman, and then he just turned on Sting. And this was the start of the New Horsemen. And Randy Savage beat Lex Luger.
Okay.
And then today is also the 20th anniversary of the final Halloween Havoc in October 29th, 2000.
Here we go.
Voted the worst major show of 2000 by the Wrestling Observer newsletter. That's covering ground with WCW that year.
It was bad. It was real bad.
And this was right after Vince Russo had suffered a concussion in a cage match, in a cage match where he won the WCW World Title.
She probably also had a football helmet on.
Hockey helmet, yeah. He was wearing a New Jersey Devils jersey.
God, on my mother's life, you will never see that piece of shit around here again.
Booker T wound up becoming champion after Russo vacated it. He beat Scott Steiner on this show by DQ in a title match.
Wait, who won? Who beat?
Russo was the champion. The title got held up. Booker T won it. And on Halloween Havoc on this show, Booker T retained the title. He beat Scott Steiner by DQ.
I thought you said Sid beat Scott Steiner for a second there.
No.
Yikes.
No. I don't know if Sid was on the show or not. Goldberg was on the show. They were doing a thing where Goldberg had to get a title shot, Goldberg had to match the streak. And if he lost one match, he would have to retire.
Wasn't he 87 wins or something like that?
No, 100 and something.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
So that wasn't legit, but yeah.
Yeah, they would just say, "Oh, he won all these matches on house shows and he didn't win them." And here in the main event of the show, Goldberg beat Chronic in a handicap match.
That's a tag team that everyone hyped up for a long time.
They weren't bad. And they came to the arena and they did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, they got crushed by Kane and Undertaker.
Well, yeah, and then Kane and Undertaker didn't like the match. He's like, get rid of him. And they wanted to send him to OVW, and I think one of them, or might have been HWA or one of those farm leagues. And one of them was okay with it, and the other was like, no, I think, because they're both these long-term vets. They're like, I'm not going to developmental.
Adam Baum looked great, but he wasn't that great of a wrestler.
I mean, were they really big in Japan, Chronic?
No, just WCW.
Really?
They were over. They were pretty over in WCW for a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chronic.
My buddy Tony was obsessed with them. He's like, they're the greatest tag team ever.
Wow,
and then I watched it. I was like, what?
And here's some Vince Russo stuff for you. One of the matches on the show was Buff Bagwell beating David Flair in a First Blood DNA match. Wow. There was a recurring angle going on here where Stacy Keibler was pregnant. And they never really revealed the father. The rumor was they were going to make the father either Vince Russo. Oh, look, Vince Russo's going to book himself to be fucking Stacy Keibler. Or Ric Flair, because Stacy Keibler was legitimately dating David Flair at the time.
Yeah, get it? She also fucked his dad. Woo!
And
so this is why I didn't watch WCW.
Yeah, well, this is why
you weren't so much.
Yeah, so when everyone's like, "Oh my God, you have to watch WCW at the same time as Raw."
Well,
and then
for a time it was good.
And then I seen Chucky and Dennis Rodman and RoboCop.
Well, RoboCop was way before.
Was earlier.
Yeah, that was 92.
I was like, "There's no way I'm watching." And then
Rodman,
I hated Goldberg.
It actually made sense, when Dennis Rodman. I mean, he wasn't a good wrestler.
Dennis Rodman versus Karl Malone.
Yeah, well, it was Dennis Rodman and
David Arquette
and Hulk Hogan versus Karl Malone and DDP.
Yeah.
So I mean, there was wrestlers there.
Yeah. The only time that WCW even grasped my attention even a little bit was DDP versus the Flock.
Okay.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah. I mean, there was some good stuff. I mean, there's a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah.
early NWO stuff was really good.
Yeah.
The cruiserweights were amazing.
Like 97,
Yeah.
98 WCW was really good. I mean, yeah, there's a couple here and there, but I mean,
Mhm.
go watch some Raws from 97, 98.
Yeah, I love
There's
I love
some
the
bad
Oh, they're
stuff.
so bad.
I love the cruiserweights. Anytime Eddie or Rey Mysterio or Ultimo Dragon were on, or even
It was
Psychosis,
usually the undercards for WCW. were real
Hypnosis.
and Super Crazy, I
Mhm.
loved all that shit. Like I was like, they're
good.
my
My Super Crazy was never there.
not Super Crazy. Yeah, Psychosis was my
Psychosis and maybe
Hoovy.
Juventud, yeah.
Juventud Guerrero. Yes, that's it. I liked Hoovy with a mask. I thought it was cool. Mask
Yeah,
was cool.
he should never took it off.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho as the cruiserweight champion is still probably my favorite Chris
Yeah,
Jericho.
that's some
Yeah.
good stuff.
That was that's technically considered his Lionheart, right?
Yeah, yeah, kind of. Well, maybe even after.
It was more like conspiracy victim.
Yeah.
He would always like be a victim of some conspiracy.
But he was still
he-
his finisher was a Lion Tamer.
Yes.
Yeah, it always was in WCW.
Great finisher. And then that same finisher just got turned to the walls of Jericho.
Yeah, because they didn't want to use Lion Tamer
Yeah.
for some stupid reason.
And then so the other matches on the show. Oh boy.
The Wall
boy.
versus Franchise in the tables match.
Not quite. For the opener was Mark Jindrak and Sean O'Hare retaining the WCW tag titles against the Filthy Animals, Kidman and Ray, Unmasked Ray,
Yeah, it was not
and
good.
Look 12.
Yeah.
and the Boogie Knights,
Oh boy.
Is that
Disco Inferno and Alex Wright.
yeah. Oh my god.
Reno, one of the Natural Born Thrillers,
Yeah.
Reno. There were just a bunch of big power plant guys. He beat Sergeant AWOL, who was the Wall, to retain the Hardcore title.
Oh boy. Don't watch that one because it's awful.
The Misfits in Action, Lieutenant Loco and Corporal Cajun, beat Chuck
Lash
Palumbo and
LaRue.
Sean Stasiak.
Ugh.
Conan and Tigress, who was one of the Nitro girls, beat Shane Douglas and Tori Wilson.
That probably sucks too.
Mike Sanders, another one of the Natural Born Thrillers,
Above
beat
average.
Ernest Miller in a kickboxing match by countout.
That's Ernest the Cat Miller, right?
Yes, he's the
Ugh.
greatest.
Dun, 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 dun,
Do you
dun.
remember, what video game was it that had the little promos on PlayStation where it would say
Oh, Nitro and Thunder.
Nitro and
Oh,
Thunder,
they
yeah.
were-
They were
Awful
great
games.
ideas. Yeah, terrible games because it was like Mortal Kombat controls, but the promos were cool.
Yeah.
And by the way, because he won that kickboxing match, Mike Sanders became the commissioner of WCW.
Wow.
And here's a guy that just took out of nowhere and just made him somebody. Like, but not. They didn't make him somebody, but they pretended like he was somebody. Like, who the hell is this Mike Sanders? Who is he? Why should I care?
How is that even a card?
Yeah.
And but there's more.
No, it's not done. Not done yet.
Then you had Mike Awesome beating Vampiro. I don't know if this was that 70s guy Mike Awesome
Oh,
or if he was already the fat chick thriller Mike Awesome at
yeah.
this point.
How would you like either of those two gimmicks?
Doesn't sound
And
And-
this
awesome.
badass guy in ECW.
Yeah, he's that 70s guy.
Was he worse in WCW than Tommy Dreamer was in WWE?
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, Tommy Dreamer actually like won the hardcore title. I think maybe.
Yeah, but he was eating hair and shit.
Yeah, but
He was doing that for like 2 weeks.
yeah. Then he was doing normal. Like Tommy Dreamer actually had some wins and some.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a great run by any means, but it was better than Mike Awesome's WCW run, which was awful.
And then we had General Erection. That's Hugh G. Erection. Get it?
Get it? Yeah, get it.
I love Russo.
Led to the ring by Major Guns. Guess what she had?
Big boobs.
Mm-hmm.
Huge erection.
Yeah.
Where's that T-shirt?
This is literally something a 4-year-old would think is
Yeah.
funny.
Where?
Major
Sorry, this guy.
I think the Misfits in Actions did have a shirt. It was camouflage.
If I ever go to Camp
Yeah.
Leapfrog, guess what my name's gonna be?
Huge erection.
Not so
At
huge.
the
erection.
very end, they did get Booker T to join, and he did his first gimmick, which was GI Bro, which was kind of cool, and everything else sucked.
One of the funniest things about it is one of the guys in there was Van Hammer, and he was Major Stash.
Yeah, get it? Because he smokes weed.
But the original idea was that he was going to be Private Stash, like you were hiding it away.
Yeah,
And he was pissed
Wait,
because Private
huge
is such a low
erection
rank
was
in the
Bill
military.
DeMont?
yeah, you know that?
No,
Because he was Hugh Morris. Yeah, he was mad that he got a low rank. What an idiot! Van Hammer sucked.
So they had to take him from Private Stash to Major Stash.
No God.
And it was like Sergeant
Sta-
AWOL, Lieutenant Loco, Corporal Cajun, which was Lash LaRue.
Yeah,
Lieutenant Loco was Chavo Guerrero Jr.
awful.
I hate to disappoint you guys. There's no huge
Oh
erection
jeez,
shirts.
I'm sure we can. There's some that may not wrestling related. That's
But anyway,
also
he beat Lance Storm and Jim Duggan in a handicap match to win the U.S. title, because this is when Jim Duggan turned heel and he joined Team Canada. He denounced the USA and he cut his hair and shaved his beard off.
yeah. How about that?
That's terrible.
It was a shocking. He's like, well, look at Jim Duggan.
It's a swerve.
Yeah,
It's a
it was,
swerve.
it was a
Bro.
good idea.
Jim Duggan with no
Bro.
beard.
Yeah, just type Jim Duggan Canadian.
Or Team Canada,
Or
yeah.
Team Canada.
And also Jeff Jarrett beat Sting.
Oh,
And while you're looking up that picture, Tony, I'm going to run through the birthdays really quick
Go
here.
ahead. Oh my goodness.
Last Friday, the 23rd, was Carmella's 33rd birthday.
Oh wow.
This past Saturday, the 24th, here's an older one. One of the biggest stars ever in the history of Memphis wrestling, Bob Eaton's father-in-law, superstar Bill Dundee, is 77.
Oh wow. I didn't know that.
We brought up this guy earlier. He may have saved Arn Anderson's life. This past Sunday, the 25th, was Too Cold Scorpio's 55th birthday. He's been through PPW, right? I think he's been on the PPW shows.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I think I saw him in like the autograph books.
Who's
Too
that?
Cold
Eh,
Scorpio.
Oh yeah.
One of the most underrated wrestlers of his generation, in my opinion.
Scorpio. That's WWE music.
He goes to the basketball court
Yeah.
and he gets out of his limo and he just plays basketball with the kids while
kids.
people are singing.
Yeah, and like, why are them kids in school?
Oh no, and he drives them to school in his limo.
Yeah,
Why are
that's
you in
right.
school? I think it's like if he beats them in basketball, they have to go to school. And he does.
Yeah, and then he's like, all right, now we're gonna do whatever the dance is called, and they start doing it. He's like, what? Oh, watch that promo on YouTube if you have time.
So then also on Sunday, the 25th, it was the 54th birthday of Perry Saturn. Monday, we have some big ones. The biggest one might be the 42nd birthday of CM Punk, was October 26th.
Oh, wow.
And it was also the 47th birthday of Taka Michinoku.
Mm.
And then we have some older guys, some legends that were actually born on the same day. They both turned 71 on Monday. Kevin Sullivan, speaking of
Ooh, the
WCW
Devil.
and WCW bookers. The Devil, Kevin Sullivan, 71 years old. And also,
The guy who killed Benoit and his family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legend.
Yeah.
Rumor.
Silly.
and then also a guy who was involved with the NWA for a little bit. I don't know if he's still doing stuff with them. Going to be in that Retromania game. Austin Idol, 71 years old.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Idolmania. Before there was a Hulkamania, there was an Idolmania.
Yeah, the kayfabe cocktail.
That's right. The kayfabe contest. Tuesday, the 27th, he had two there. Bobby Fish turned 41. And speaking of Memphis guys who wound up managing Sid, funny enough, Harvey Whippleman, 55 years old on Tuesday.
Ooh, Downtown Bruno, as they call him backstage.
So yesterday, Wednesday 28th, the big one, the biggest one of all these birthdays, yesterday, our buddy Alex.
Alex
was,
Watt, baby. The
yesterday.
kilowatt. Love that dude.
How old is he?
He
Not
is-
sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he doesn't
He's
disclose
an
his age.
age.
He's
of
18
age.
years old.
Yeah.
Congratulations. No, 21 because he was drinking on our show. So
Yeah.
he's 22. He's 22
Yeah.
years old.
Keeps going up. But
he's
look at this. Alex is 70.
Yeah,
He's 70 years
He's
old. He looks great.
750
He
years
is
old.
also 71 like Austin Idol.
Yeah. Honestly though, just real quick, just a good dude, man. I talk to him a lot. I vent to him a lot. We brainstorm a lot. He's a good dude, man. Very, very grateful that I met him, and I really enjoy collaborating and working with him. And he does amazing things. Definitely go check out Camp Leapfrog once again, and High Tension Wrestling. He does unbelievable work.
And who does he share a birthday with? Let's find out. Yesterday was also the 40th birthday of Christy Hemme.
Oh, I love Chrissy. I thought she was so hot.
Did you ever see her in anything live?
No, I don't think I ever
Yeah,
got a chance to.
she was very, very attractive in person too. She was at a TNA show. I went to a TNA house show at the arena in 2006. It was when they did they did a rematch of Daniels, Joe, and AJ. They did like Jeff Jarrett and Rhino. There was a three-way with like Team 3D, America's Most Wanted, and the New Age Outlaws.
Mhm.
And she was there. I think it was around a time she was doing like ring announcing for that show.
Okay. Remember she had
And
a metal band too, not to cut you off. It was called
Yeah.
Hemi. I remember it wasn't that bad.
Hemi.
I wonder if you can
Yeah,
find
Hemi.
it. It's probably not on Spotify.
and then she was managing the Rock and Rave Infection.
Yeah. Yeah, so good.
And then also yesterday was the 47th birthday, and he's still going strong. MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stable is awesome. The Hurt Business.
38th.
Mhm.
I do like the Hurt Business. Also, the 38th birthday of Rocky Romero.
Oh, New Japan.
And 71 seems to be the magic number today. Maybe Alex is 71.
Yeah.
But this man no longer with us, unfortunately. But he would have been 71 today, and I had to bring him up because he is my favorite jobber of all time. The one, the only, Canada's greatest athlete, Iron Mike
I was
Sharp.
gonna say Iron Mike Sharp.
I thought you were gonna say Bret Hart. Joking.
And today, another 71-year-old is still with us, thankfully. Today is the 71st birthday of Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
Wonderful. He's so wonderful.
Who did he beat up backstage?
Vader.
Yeah, Vader. Yeah.
Crazy.
Wonderful.
Is that it then for birthdays?
That's the birthday, is it?
There's one coming up on the 31st. I'm probably going to butcher your name, so I am very
You
sorry.
son of a bitch.
Andy wrestled this guy at PPW.
Okay.
El Fenomero?
You can
El
swag.
Fenomeno Tormenta, right?
Yes.
Yes.
There you go, Alpha Mom.
Thank you.
That was the first match I saw you wrestling. It was
Oh, how about
the
that?
5th anniversary show this year.
Yeah,
6th
they did
anniversary
pretty
show.
good. Yeah.
Isn't that the one where he had a bum ankle?
Yes.
Yeah, he had a hurt ankle in
Mhm.
that match. Yeah, it was a good match. That was like in a stretch there where you wrestled like 3 dudes with masks.
Yeah.
You wrestled him, then you wrestled
Not the key.
Nola Katana, right?
Yeah.
Matakia,
That was in there. Yeah.
Mantequilla. Did you wrestle Rembrandt? No, you didn't.
No, he's
never
in the
wrestled
four-way.
him yet.
He was in
Yeah.
the four-way.
Yeah.
And there was somebody else too.
I think it was 2.
all
I think it
blends
was 2.
together.
I think it was-
Sebastian Cage.
Yeah, Sebastian
Cage.
Cage.
Yeah.
And then there was. I forget.
Yeah. But you're still going for that title.
That's right.
Still going for it. It's
Going
gonna
for
be
every and any title.
hopefully
Not
maybe
come
have
around.
2. We might have 2 belts hanging
Two
out
belts.
with us.
Yeah. How about that?
Andy Two
Hopefully.
Belts. All
Yeah.
right.
Andy
I
2
like it.
belts.
Yeah. I'm right. Becky on one for no reason.
Then we'll-
No, I'm gonna name one Becky.
yeah.
And they won one Becky and one Naito. There we go.
We're gonna have a picture in front of the banner.
Yeah,
You holding
2
two
belts.
of your titles up. Hopefully, if you win them and
You never know.
once election's over and COVID's over,
Once when Trump fixes it.
whoever wins fixes it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It doesn't matter.
And if not, they're done.
Yeah.
Get them out of there.
If they don't fix it within 2 weeks, you're voted out.
Yeah.
Next one up. All right, we are about an hour 30 in, so maybe don't go too hard on Kurt Hennig and
Maybe.
Rick
Yeah,
Rude.
Maybe save
we
one of them.
we could always we'll just go through the very quick Rick Rude, Kurt Hennig. Rick Rude was a football star, class of 1976, Robbinsdale High. Finished 6th in the light heavyweight division in the 1983 World Arm Wrestling Championships. He was one of those guys like Animal and Hawk that.
Well, we're real quick. So we are talking about Robbinsdale High School. A quick recap. If you didn't watch part 1, this is
Minnesota.
a high school in Minnesota, graduating class about
Minnesota.
well, the school itself around in today's time has about 1,000 kids.
Total.
Oh yeah, total.
Yeah,
So
that's like Minersville for local.
very small graduating class. I'm trying to pull up the Wikipedia page here, or not the Wikipedia page. Here's your show notes. So this class, the big name that came out initially is Vern Gagne, who went on to own AWA and start a lot of really cool stuff there.
He was Minnesota wrestling.
Yeah, he was the big dude there. I'm trying to think what else. Because your notes start right off with these 2 dudes.
If you want to know.
Yeah, I got rid of the
Listen to
old
part
books from
1.
last week.
Oh,
These-
okay, I
just
see it.
saved
Listen to
over them.
part 1.
Yeah, Mean Gene Okerlund came from that school, and then
Barry
then
Dorso.
we talked about Vern Gagne's son.
Yeah, great.
Greg Gagne, Tom Zink, we talked about last
Tom
week.
Zink. Yeah, so we're hitting the class of 76, and the 2 big names here we're starting off is Rick Rude and Kurt Hennig, aka Mr. Perfect.
Probably my 2 favorite heels of the late 80s, very early 90s WWF.
100% agree.
Absolutely. And the funny thing about Rick Rude, he gets started, gets trained by Eddie Sharkey. He's a bouncer at this bar. When he first gets into wrestling, he's a babyface, which I couldn't see it. He was Ricky Rude. He was a lower card babyface in Georgia, Memphis, Vancouver. But he winds up coming back to Memphis in 1984, and that's where Ravishing Rick Rude is born. The original Mr. Steal Your Girl. He was managed by Jimmy Hart there. He would be managed in Florida and in Texas in World Class by Percy Pringle, who most people know better as Paul Bearer. And he was actually the first World Class champion because they left the NWA, and his NWA American Championship became the World Class Wrestling Association World title. That's where he first ran into the Dingo Warrior. They teamed and then they feuded. That was obviously the Ultimate Warrior. He moves on to Jim Crockett Promotions, where him and Manny Fernandez win the NWA tag titles. He actually left while they were still tag champions. He jumped to WWF, and they showed an old match. It was a non-title match where the Rock and Roll Express beat them, acted like it was a new match, and said that was a title change.
Oh boy.
Guy had a 14
Wrestling
pack as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Abs-
he was put together.
yeah,
Shredded.
Shredded. He used to come
And
out. If you're not a wrestling fan and you're kind of just hanging out, he would put his hands up with his head.
Say, if you're not a wrestling fan, what are
he
you doing listening to this
he
show?
would swivel his hips, and it's still a very, very popular move. The Rick Rude.
And just the whole rap too. What I'd like to have right now is for all you fat, out of shape, inner city sweat hogs, or he might just like
Pennsylvania piss ants. That was
Schuylkill County scumbags. Keep the noise down while I take my robe off. It was amazing. Amazing.
Although
I always thought it'd be great if they had a really fat wrestler just take that gimmick now.
Yes.
I think his WCW music was far superior, though. Woo!
Oh,
simply ravishing.
Like, could you imagine if they turned Otis heel and he's like, "What I'd like to have
and
right
his
now."
Rick Rude.
No, all of a sudden he talks normal.
Yeah, it's totally normal.
See, I
I wasn't slow. That was actually a storyline with Rick Steiner at one time.
yeah. Dude, sometimes rewash gimmicks should just be a thing.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's funny.
Otis
So,
is the new Ravishing Rick Rude would be amazing.
Ravishing Otis would be great. So in WWF, he's with Bobby Heenan. He was one of the few guys that didn't like being managed by Bobby Heenan. Thought Bobby was taking his heat. And they always do a gimmick where he would pull a woman out of the crowd, he would bring her into the ring, he would kiss her, and she'd be so overwhelmed that she'd just go down on the floor and couldn't get up.
Yeah, her heart would be a flutter.
And this was a thing where they built that into a feud with Jake Roberts, where one of the women he tries to do this with is, unbeknownst to him, Jake's wife, Cheryl Roberts. And she won't come out of the crowd. And she's like, "Well, who did you come to see?" And she says, "Jake Roberts." He's like, "Oh, that loser." And eventually he's like threatening her, like grabs her wrist, and Jake comes out and they have a big feud. And that's when he would put Cheryl Roberts' face on his tights. And they did a thing where like Jake came out and pulled his pants down.
Yeah.
And they blurred it like he was wearing like a G-string, but they blurred it so it looked like it made him look like he was naked.
Yeah.
There is a rib here. One of the times they did this, where the women they put out of the crowd, and Rude didn't know this. It was Jake's like local ring rat. It was a girl Jake had on the side there.
Wow.
And she preloaded her mouth with some snake venom.
Oh boy.
And when Rude went to kiss her, she delivered the snake venom and said, "That's from Jake."
Oh, that's gross. So gross. Ugh.
It's very gross.
How long did she have it? Like, what did she have it in before she put it in her mouth?
Maybe it was in like a little baggie or a condom like they would do with the mist.
Yeah, with the blood. Oh my god, that's so
making
gross.
sure we're still alive here.
Not anymore. after
So,
that.
No, we're good. Yeah. Now we're gone.
So then he goes from feuding with Jake to feuding with the Ultimate Warrior. They did the super pose down where he just beats up Warrior at the first Royal Rumble pay-per-view. He actually wins the Intercontinental title from Warrior at WrestleMania 5, loses it back at SummerSlam, feuds with Piper, wrestled Warrior for the world title at SummerSlam 90.
Mm-hmm.
Shortly after that, he was gone. He had a pay dispute with Vince.
Yeah.
He had a pay dispute with Vince. He was wrestling some indies for a while. Then he shows up, and I think this is Rick Rude's best run, was in WCW, where he's in the Dangerous Alliance. He wins the U.S. title.
Well, I mean,
let's
let's be honest. His most impressive night in wrestling history is when he showed up on the same night in ECW, WCW, and WWF.
Well, it was just
the same
WWF.
week.
Yeah, it was same week.
Same week. Yeah, they did that.
I thought he was on all three because they run a rerun or something like
No,
that.
because ECW wasn't on Mondays.
I mean, ECW had been on somewhere on Mondays. It wasn't
yeah.
on the same place everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in Philly, it was on like Tuesday nights at 11.
Oh, yeah. I think it was ECW earlier in the week or something like that, or later in the
Well,
week.
no,
Yeah,
no, he would have been out of ECW for a while at that
But
point.
they showed a rerun or something like
maybe,
that.
yeah.
Or he technically showed up on 3 promotions
Yeah.
in the same week, and
But
it was
the main thing was he was on both shows on
Yeah.
one night.
yeah,
Yeah, he
on
was the only guy on Raw and Nitro the same night. And this was after his WCW run ended in '94. He had a bad back injury. It was in Japan. He was wrestling Sting, and it was in a dome show, so the ring is on a platform, so it's raised up, so it's easier to see. and he catches Sting on a body press, and he lands on the edge of this platform, and he broke his back. And he had a lot of these Minnesota guys had that Lloyd's of London insurance policy. Animal had it. A few other guys we're going to be talking about in a few minutes here had it. So that was his last match. He never wrestled again, but he did. He was with DX, and he jumps to WCW. So
he was a good
taped that night.
manager. He was
Yeah,
a
he was,
decent
yeah.
manager. Yeah.
He was actually right before he died. No, skip ahead. He was training to wrestle again.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he wanted to come back in WWF. They're probably going to put him with Austin.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, he was probably still in great shape. I mean, he didn't get fat or nothing, you know.
Could you imagine if we
Yeah,
had today's technology where people are like stem celling and
Yeah.
and doing all this
Yeah,
great stuff
Rick
to
Rude came back,
recovering?
yeah.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah, it would have been amazing. But the greatest thing, too, about that, when he showed up on Raw and Nitro, he shows up on Nitro because Nitro came on at 8 o'clock, Raw came on at 9. He shows up on Nitro. I think either just has a mustache or he's totally clean-shaven. And then on Raw, he has a full beard an hour later.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
And then he mainly, in WCW, mainly was managing Kurt Hennig, who was his childhood friend. They were lifelong friends.
Yep. Well, they graduated together.
Yeah, when he went to WCW, he kind of did nothing at the end there.
Yeah.
He was doing some announcing, some like backstage stuff. They had like these direct TV things where they do like stuff during the commercials. And then he did kind of leave WCW in '99. And he was training for a comeback, likely as a challenger for Steve Austin. He said he might have pushed it too far. He might have been getting on the gas a little bit more. And and April 20th, 1999, at the age of 40, he did die. The autopsy showed he died of heart failure caused by an accidental overdose of mixed medications.
40 years
Yeah,
old.
man. It's young.
40.
Mhm.
Crazy. Crazy. You think he should have been a world champion?
Yes. Well, technically he was, but it
Yeah.
was the WCW International title.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was
But
kinda
yeah.
like, yeah, he could have won it.
He-
He could have beat the Warrior for it.
I think maybe instead of, and I love Vader, like I'm as big a Vader fan as there is. Maybe he should have beat Ron Simmons for the title in WCW.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, see that.
'Cause- Yeah, I think he definitely. There was a while there, probably from like 90 to 94, where he was the best heel in wrestling.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, let's get on to his childhood best friend here.
Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, second generation wrestler, son of Larry the Axe Hennig. And he was the only guy we're talking about that actually was on the wrestling team at Robbinsdale High.
Wow.
Yeah, Kurt Hennig was a wrestler,
Well,
and he
nobody
was
else had
trained in
time
pro
for that.
wrestling by his dad and Vern Gagne. His first gimmick in 1980 in the AWA was Cool Kurt Hennig.
Cool.
He's cool.
Because he's a
And-
cool guy.
And he wound up working for the WWF very early on during like the Bob Backlund run. When Bob Backlund's on top, he was an undercard babyface. He actually teamed with another second generation wrestler, another guy who very underrated, Eddie Gilbert.
Okay, yeah.
Moved on to Portland to Pacific Northwest. He won the tag titles there with his dad. He won them with Playboy Buddy Rose. He won them with Pat McGee. He also won the Pacific Northwest title. But then you get to the point where he really starting to make a name for himself, and that's when he comes back to the AWA in like 83, 84. He teams with his dad against the Road Warriors. I think we talked about that a bit when Animal died.
Yeah.
And then his big tag team was with another guy who was in the NWO, Scott Hall, and they were the AWA tag team champions. Tony, I might have a homework assignment for you to watch something. Have you ever seen the Wrestle Rock Rumble?
No.
You're familiar with the Super Bowl Shuffle, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
This is the wrestling version of that. There was an AWA show in 1986 called Wrestle Rock, and they did the Wrestle Rock Rumble, and it's the same thing. And Kurt Hennig and Scott Hall are in that.
Interesting. Is it on the network?
It's on YouTube if it's not on the network.
Okay.
The,
It
the
might be
actual
on the
show
network.
Wrestle Rock's on the network.
Send
you
yeah,
gotta
send
watch the
send me
Wrestle
the
Rock
link.
Rumble.
I'll check it out.
And you'll be amazed at how good of a rapper like one or two people are, and how bad everybody else is.
Yeah.
Scott Hall's another one that, man, people don't realize how talented he actually
Mhm.
was. Unbelievably talented.
Absolutely. And after that tag run with Scott Hall, he finally wins the AWA title from Nick Bockwinkel. Ends Bockwinkel's final reign. He turns heel. He hit Bockwinkel a roll of quarters. He feuded with him and his dad feuded with the Gagnes. And then he started this heel group. Actually, it was DDP. DDP was a manager at this point. They had a group called the Diamond Exchange. It was Kurt Hennig. It was Medusa Michelli, Medusa Alundra Blaze. She was the women's champion. Bad Company was a top tag team, Paul Diamond and Pat Tanaka. And they also had Colonel De Beers in the Diamond Exchange.
Wow.
And he dropped the AWA title to Lawler in May 1988. He had it a little over a year because he was leaving for the WWF. He left around that time. Martel was a little before them. The Rockers left. The Midnight Rockers back then. They were the Midnight Rockers, not just the Rockers. As a matter of fact, whenever I'm at a PPW show and Paul Bow comes out at the beginning, I always think the Rockers because that Judas Priest song was their song too.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Man, AWA was a launching point.
Living after
Absolutely.
midnight.
Yeah, it's just that they couldn't modernize their product, and Vince just stole everybody.
Yeah.
Stole everybody.
It's a shame.
So Kurt Hennig just starts as Kurt Hennig in summer of '88. That's when I saw him. I think I mentioned it last week. The first wrestling match I ever saw live was Kurt Hennig against DJ Peterson at the Spectrum.
Oh wow.
And then they started airing the vignettes that everybody remembers.
Oh,
Very
my
similar to
God.
what they're doing with Bianca Belair now, the Mr. Perfect things, where
Mhm.
he's throwing up the football and catching it himself, or he's running the table and pull, or he's shooting a
darts,
half-court shot.
Shooting the ball backwards.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. One of them, he was just hitting home runs, and he was a real life friend of the baseball player Wade Boggs. Wade Boggs was in that one.
Yeah, he's blown away by his
Yeah.
abilities. Wasn't he bowling perfect strikes too?
Yeah.
He really is perfect.
Uh,
Basketball player.
Golfing and hitting hole-in-ones off the tee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, it was such a great promo.
Every single thing I do is absolutely perfect.
Yeah, and then and then the towel. I
Yeah.
mean, if you
The
don't
gum.
remember him with a towel and just kind of throwing the towel behind his back and catching it
Yeah.
and spitting his gum out and slapping it away. I mean, if you don't do that, if you have gum in your mouth, and
Yeah.
you're not
you
out in
haven't
the
tried
street,
to do that.
and you don't do that,
You better do that.
you better start doing it. You goddamn right. You better
Spit your
start
gum
doing
like
it.
Mr. Perfect.
I
and-
try spitting it, punting it.
Nah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite towel things is one of the Rumbles. I think it's 91. He throws the towel up in the air, and Bobby Heenan's behind him, and it goes over Bobby Heenan's head. Heenan doesn't even look back. He just backhand catches it behind his back. Amazing. Amazing.
That's yeah.
And how much do we really have to get into? I know we're kind of short for time. If you don't remember Mr. Perfect, watch the network. Watch him being the Intercontinental Champion. Watch him going undefeated through like 89 and a lot of 90.
SummerSlam
even-
91.
Yeah, even when he's the executive, the Intercontinental title run in 90, 91, the match with Bret Hart at SummerSlam 91 is amazing. He comes back as a baby face. He has another great match with Bret Hart at King of the Ring in 93.
Royal Rumble
Um,
2004 when he came back. And he's-
2003. Oh,
What
I
was,
lo-
was it 3 or 4?
I think it was 2003. It was 2002 because he died in 2003.
Okay, yeah, and then he makes it to the final 4. It's like, whoa. He's
So
so
the
good.
final 3, he
Yeah.
outlasted Austin.
Yeah.
Wow.
It came down to him, Angle, and Triple H. My favorite moment in this is when he comes in and the crowd just goes nuts when they hear the music. He's in there with Steve Austin and Triple H, who are like your two biggest stars at the time because The Rock's off making movies. They have him in the corner. They're beating on him in the corner. Spits his gum out while he's in the ropes and smacks it away while he's getting pounded on by Steve Austin and Triple H.
Another guy. So here's the thing too. All right. So a lot of people, wrestling fans now are kind of spoiled where they're like, we want this, and if we don't get it, we're gonna say your company sucks, and we're gonna like your Kofi title run.
Mhm.
Like people are now clamoring for a Big E world champion.
Yeah.
That Big E deserves it. Big E deserves it. We're saying the Miz deserves it. Guys like Dolph Ziggler say they work it, they deserve it at some point. We're talking about two guys right here as Kurt Hennig and Mr. Perfect and Ravishing Rick Rude, who are never world champions,
Yeah.
but
We're
are
talking about
still
people that deserve
but
it.
are still absolute legends of their sport
Yeah.
and never had the Roddy Piper never
Ted
had
DiBiase.
Ted
Yeah,
did-
so many of them.
never had the world title. That because it means something to be the world champion.
Yeah, and it was harder back then, I know.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have 15 champions a year.
So it's like when it's like, oh well, so people think like if Big E never holds the world championship, his career will be for naught. And it's like, no,
No,
it's okay. It's
yeah.
okay to be the mid carder, but if you're a really good mid carder, and a IC champion, you
Yeah.
can still go down in wrestling history as a great
Yeah.
without ever being a world
And
champion.
there's still plenty of time for him to have a singles run, which is just start now. So
Yeah,
be
so
a little patient. Not everyone can be world champion right away.
I agree. So just a great
And
example.
here's something that's hard pill to swallow. Not everyone should be world champion.
No, I personally, I love Big E. I think he's a great talent. I think he'd be a boring champion.
I don't know. So I always thought he'd be a good world champion. He could talk. I mean, I don't know about the match quality.
Yeah, I don't think he would carry the belt very well.
Yeah.
That's just me. That's just my personal.
Who
opinion.
knows?
Like him a lot. I don't know how he would be as world
I
champion.
mean, better than Jinder.
Yep.
Very true. No, I disagree. Jinder was a great heel.
No. Do you know the rating? Do you know,
No.
there was people talking about like now how Raw's ratings are down, right? And he goes, "Here's an article from 2 years ago where Sportskeeda is like the Raw ratings are down, and they were 2 million more than what they are now. And you know, when they first dropped, what caused it?
Jinder Mahal.
Jinder winning the world title.
All right, let's get on to
77.
class of 77. Yeah. So
And this is a guy we did talk about last week.
unfortunately, too, if you don't already know this, Kurt Hennig did pass away in 2003, as he said. He was found dead in a hotel room in Florida, and the cause of death was possibly cocaine intoxication.
Acute cocaine intoxication
Yeah.
is what they said, yes.
Yeah. So
John Nord, we talked about him last week. He's the class of 77. Very good football player. He played in the USFL for the New Jersey Generals. And another Eddie Sharkey guy. He was Nord the Barbarian, managed by Skandar Akbar, managed by Sheikh Adnan Al Casey in the AWA.
Shiki baby.
I actually had his toy, the Barbarian.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the Barbarian or the Berserker?
The Berserker.
Berserker is John Nord. He's the
The-
Viking.
What was what were they called? The Hasbro line?
Oh yeah, the small ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe there was a Hasbro
Yeah, that would have been the
Berserker.
Berserker. He looked like a Viking.
Probably, yeah. As long as he's a Viking, he's the only one with real curly, long hair. You know, the classic hat with the horns on it, or helmet, I should say.
I think there was two of them, wasn't there? There was the Berserkers.
Well, no, there was the Berserker, and then there was another guy that was the Barbarian. He was like the Powers of Pain. He was
Yeah,
a
he was
Tongan guy.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he was one of the only ones that actually his helmet never came off when he like with his toy. It was like
Oh,
stuck
it was
on.
like stuck. Yeah, that is Berserker. Yeah.
But I think his jacket came off.
Maybe I think he had it was like
a vest, yeah.
material. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Berserker and yeah, the Barbarian. Yeah, yep. I never had the
And what-
Barbarian. I had the Berserker though.
And when he was Nord the Barbarian, he teamed in the AWA with King Kong Brody, who was Bruiser Brody. He would always be called King Kong Brody up in AWA because Dick the Bruiser was a big deal up there. And they teamed. We were just talking about Wrestle Rock. Nord the Barbarian and King Kong Brody lost a match to Greg Gagne and Jimmy Snuka, a cage match at Wrestle Rock. And then we talked about the promo last week when he was in the Yukon Lumberjacks with Scott Norton.
Yeah.
And then he becomes the Berserker, and he took a lot of Brody's mannerisms.
Mm-hmm.
He was the Viking for a little bit, and he was managed by, I believe,
Mr. Fuji.
I'm gonna say Fuji when he was the Berserker. Yeah, I think at first it might have been like Harvey Whippleman
Okay.
no, Slick.
Oh,
I think it might have been Slick, and he was the Viking, and then he becomes Mr. Fuji's guy, and he's the Berserker. And he would win matches by count out. He would pick up the guy and just throw them over the
Yeah.
top rope and win by count out.
oh boy.
And because of that, he won a 40-man battle royal in 1992. It was a lot of like jobber guys, and it was on Primetime Wrestling. He did some crazy stuff. He tried to stab the Undertaker with his sword.
Yeah, and he would like jam it and it would go into the ring. Like, oh, he's
Yeah.
got a real sword. Hush, hush.
He,
So would always say that.
He threw Jameson. Remember Jameson? He threw him
Oh,
off the
God,
roof
yeah.
on Primetime Wrestling.
Here's a question: if Berserker obviously not in the Hall of Fame,
No,
No,
but if Hillbilly Jim is in,
then Berserker should be in. Yeah.
I agree.
anybody can go in. If Hillbilly Jim and Coco Beware
Yeah.
and Johnny Rods are in, anybody can
yeah.
be in.
If that's the bar, then you have the entire roster.
Iron Mike Sharp should be in.
Yeah, he did more as a jobber.
When Hillbilly Jim was put in, I was like, "There's no limit
Yeah,
to
I was
who
like,
can be in
I
this."
can't even remember one Hillbilly Jim match.
He was a promo guy, like not even.
He was
that.
always in battle royals that they said that he would win and he wouldn't win.
yeah.
And
It was like Hillbilly Jim's my pick.
and his gimmick before that, Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
The one match I can think, I'm trying to think of Hillbilly Jim matches. The one I can remember now was the WrestleMania 3 one where it was him and what was it, Little Beaver and the Haiti Kid against like King Kong Bundy and two other little wrestlers. And Bundy just started beating up all the little guys,
Yeah.
even though he was on his team.
All right, let's get on to the next person in the class here.
Yeah,
Class
John
77.
Nord wound up going to WCW for a little bit. He had some problems with DUIs, and he's on probation now. He's in a wheelchair. He's got ALS, but
poor guy.
yeah, poor guy. Nikita Koloff's our next guy. Born Nelson Scott Simpson. I think went by Scott.
Well, he was a foreign exchange student, right?
Yeah, from Russia.
From Russia.
And
He's totally not really from Minnesota.
and one of the things I always say is like, this guy has never heard a Russian person talk.
None of them did. Well, because they all talk like Ivan, and Ivan was French Canadian.
Yeah,
Or that he would try to sound like the Sheik.
yeah, like it just was not Russian at all. Like when the network came out, I'm like, I'll watch all the NWA. So I would watch all the shows. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, did they not have any movies with Russians in it? To say, hey, Mike, you want to listen to this?
It's like, fuck it, we'll do it live.
As a kid, Nikita was very much into bodybuilding. He grew up poor, but he earned money as a paperboy and bought a weight set. He was a big football player. Broke his leg a few times. That cut short his career. He was trying to try out for the USFL. He was friendly with Road Warrior Animal, and he was trying to try out for there. And when he's getting there, he stays with Gordon Soley, or he's staying with Animal, and he meets Gordon Soley, who tried to get him a tryout with the Tampa Bay Bandits, which was the USFL team. But Animal's like, hey, they're looking for Jim Crockett Promotions is looking for a Russian guy. I think he would be good for this. So he goes with the Jim Crockett. Crockett's like, because the best guy you can compare Nikita Koloff to is Goldberg.
Yeah.
He just looked like $1 million, looked like a monster. And so Jim Crockett takes one look at him. He says, shave your head and you're working for me. And so he gets in with the Russians. Ivan Koloff, who was a storyline uncle. They had a partner, Don Kernodle, who was a turncoat. He used to be with Sergeant Slaughter, but he became like a Russian sympathizer. And then he left, so he was replaced by another American that was a Russian sympathizer, Crusher Khrushchev. We'll talk more about him later. They were the NWA Tag Champions. They used the Freebird rule, and they had a big feud with the Road Warriors. They wound up losing the title to the Rock and Roll Express. Then Nikita goes into a legendary feud with Magnum TA over the U.S. title. Magnum was... What was that?
I said the best of 7.
Yes, Magnum winds up hitting Bob Geigel, who was the NWA president. They strip him of the U.S. title. They have a best of 7 series at the Great American Bash. Nikita wins match 7 with help from the Russians. And that was supposed to be to get the U.S. title off Magnum and give him kind of an excuse and a buyout. Because that year at Starrcade, 86, Magnum was supposed to beat Flair and become like the big #1 babyface. But that October, Magnum gets in a career-ending car accident. And Nikita's getting good reactions. The Cold War is dying down. So Dusty's like, I'm turning him babyface. Dusty's booking. I'm going to turn Nikita babyface. He winds up being in a tag team with the Nikita called the Superpowers. They win the Crockett Cup. Nikita actually wrestled Ric Flair in the main event of Starrcade instead of Magnum. I know I showed you a little clip of that match because Nikita's Russian sickle pops out of his tights.
And Tommy Young helps him with it.
Puts it right back in for him.
Tommy Young.
It's on the
Tommy
network.
Young.
You can literally see a penis on the network. It's 100% there.
And he also started growing his hair out, and he had a flat top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to
What was it? Was it a stalling suplex?
I find that I love the American people. I want to be for the American people.
What was it?
The Russian sickle was a clothesline.
Yeah.
Oh no! When it falls out, when his dick.
No,
falls
that's
out.
just that was what I made. I made the joke because that was the name of his move.
Yeah.
Oh no! I'm saying when it fell out though, didn't he take a stalling suplex?
Yeah, it was like a vertical suplex. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was tights were getting pulled because he used to wear like a onesie.
Yeah.
A baby onesie. It was like the tights, the trunks, and then like a tank top.
And being a good buddy, he just tucks it back in for
that's
him.
Tommy Young for you. Apparently, Tommy Young was. They said that he was gay, but he said he was non-practicing.
Okay.
Whatever that meant.
Well, I mean, back in that time.
Yeah, that wasn't very acceptable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that word.
Also, one of the best referees to ever referee
Tommy Young.
match.
That was great. Yeah.
All right.
And so Nikita winds up winning the TV title later. He left wrestling a bit in 1988. His wife at the time was diagnosed with lymphoma, and she unfortunately passed away in 89. He actually met his second wife, who was a friend of his first wife, at his first wife's funeral. They married in 1990. They had 2 daughters. One of them is Colby Koloff. She's a Christian musician, and they divorced in 2007. But his family was actually on the first 2 seasons of a show on Lifetime called Preacher's Daughters. And he came back to WCW in 91. He was a heel. He feuded with Luger and Sting. He left it again for a little while, came back as a babyface in 92. He didn't last long. He was in the War Games match where Sting and his team beat the Dangerous Alliance. But Vader hurt him in a match. He got a herniated disc, and he was another guy that cashed out on the Lloyd's of London policy, and he left wrestling. Since then, since 92, he's been here and there. He's done some stuff with NWA, but he's really mainly been involved with his ministry. He's very much a deeply religious guy.
Yeah.
And we saved Matt Turner's favorite for last.
Class of 1978.
It's the young guy.
Barry Darso.
I gotta kick your stick at Dathan.
He played ice hockey at Robbinsdale High. He was a hockey player.
Not in Minnesota. That doesn't make any sense.
Minnesota.
Hockey player in Minnesota. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like the Road Warriors, like Rick Rude, he was a bouncer at Grandma B's. That's how he got into the business, trained by Eddie Sharkey. He started wrestling in Hawaii and New Zealand and Australia as Czar Mongo.
What a name.
Real quick, I just want to apologize to people watching this. I keep yawning a lot.
Me too.
We are starting later than normal, and I just got my sleep schedule somewhat normal again, so I'm way past my bedtime.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I napped before the show.
Yeah.
So I'm fresh as a daisy.
So there's,
we're almost done.
We'll say that I'm crying because I miss all these great legends.
I miss Czar Mongo.
Yeah.
That's the first of many gimmicks that Barry Darso is going to display. Very few people have as many gimmicks as him. Maybe Brutus Beefcake, maybe a handful of other people. He comes back into the U.S. in 1983 as Man Mountain Darso.
Man Mountain Darso.
And then
MMD.
And then those are good initials. Yeah. I like that. And then he's in the Mid-South in Texas as Crusher Darso. And that was the Russian sympathizer gimmick. He started as Crusher Darso. And then when he comes to Mid-Atlantic, he becomes Crusher Khrushchev, and he teams with fellow Robbinsdale High alum Nikita Koloff and Ivan Koloff. And he even became the first ever Mid-South TV champion before that. He won the Florida tag titles with Jim Neidhart. And then, I got ahead of myself with that, and then he goes to Crockett and teams with the Koloffs. And that lasts until he leaves to the WWF in 1987. WWF had recently decided that we want our own Road Warriors. So they come up with this team, Demolition. And Axe is Bill Eadie, the masked superstar. And then they have Smash, who is Randy Cully, who was the Moondog. He was one of the Moondogs. He was Moondog Rex. Nobody recognized Axe because Masked Superstar obviously wore a mask. But when people saw Smash, they would chant Moondog at him. So they're like, we got to get Randy out of here. So after a few appearances, he's out, and Barry Darso's in. So if you notice the very big early parts of Demolition, I think there's some stuff on the network from 87, or you can look up for it on YouTube. He doesn't have a whole lot of hair because he was completely bald, shaved head when he was Crusher Khrushchev. So the first 6, 7, 8 months of Smash, his hair is slowly growing back.
That's something. The other guy, I've never even seen the other guy. I have to look up a picture of him.
I think there's one or two, and then he wrestled later as Detroit Demolition.
Okay.
He kind of sued because he said he came up with the gimmick.
Yeah.
And when they were first there, Johnny Valiant was their manager, and then Mr. Fuji becomes their manager later. And obviously, Demolition's a huge success. They won the tag titles from Strikeforce at WrestleMania 4. It's technically still the longest reign of all time if you count TV time, because they lost it to the Brainbusters at a taping. And if you count that first reign from when they won it to when they lost it, the actual day they lost it at the taping, the New Day's reign is longer. But if you count from when that show actually aired on TV, Demolition has a longer reign.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
And they wound up becoming 3-time tag champions. At the end of the third reign, they turned heel. They thought Axe had to retire. They thought he had a heart issue. It was actually a shellfish allergy. So they bring in Brian Adams, Crush, who was in Chronic, and he becomes the third member of Demolition. They turn heel. They bring back Mr. Fuji. They lose the titles to the Hart Foundation. They feuded with the LOD, and then they were done pretty soon after that. They lost to Junichiro Tenryu and Koji Katao at WrestleMania 7.
Yeah, and they got shitty music too when they turned heel. I was like,
Yeah.
why would you play that
Yeah,
awesome
Heart movie
Demolition
generic
song?
music.
It was so good.
It's weird.
And
I never bought into them.
Really? I always
No.
liked Demolition. I seen him first, so.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Comes the
I never bought
axe.
into them.
Here comes the smash. Yeah, they were Legion of Doom plus, Road Warriors plus Kiss. There you go.
I was still super into the Rockers and stuff though.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was one show. It was actually, I think, a birthday present for me, and I turned 6.
Am I wrong by saying at this time too the Steiners were in WWF?
No, not for a while.
Steiners came a little bit later. They came in 90.
Who were other tag teams at this time? The Rockers were there. LOD was not LOD. Demolition was there.
Twin Towers, which is Akeem and
No, they didn't.
In
do it.
the late 80s, you had Demolition, you had the Rockers, the Hart Foundation, the Rougeau Brothers, the Bushwhackers,
not
the
just
Brain
Masters.
Busters.
Love the Bushwhackers. Was the Samoans there?
You had the Islanders in around 87 before around the time Demolition was getting started, but then they kind of broke up and Haku became King Haku.
Okay.
But the head trickers came way later.
Okay.
British Bulldogs. They had the British Bulldogs. They had a tag run with the British Bulldogs in like '88. But Dynamite was starting to get in bad shape at that point. Killer Bees around them. The Young Stallions.
Be Brian Blair. Pt2.
And but the best is yet to come for Smash at this point, because after Demolition, he comes back in late 1991. And he's got a job now.
Yeah.
He's not wearing face paint anymore. He's wearing a little domino mask. And if you're getting behind on your bills, you're gonna get a visit from the Repo Man.
Because what's yours is mine, or what's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine too.
I love the Repo
So
Man.
great. He went so over the top with it. That's what makes Repo Man amazing. Of all the bad gimmicks, of all like the quote unquote WrestleCraft gimmicks, Repo Man is by far my favorite.
Yeah, I would have given him a little push. I mean, yeah, world title or nothing, but a little push.
Yeah, you could have him like
Cool.
lose to Bret Hart.
I mean, I really
match.
like Reaper Man, but I'm trying to think of who would be my favorite. I mean, is Goldust count as like a crack gimmick?
No, Goldust is a
No,
great gimmick.
Yeah,
It was supposed to be a crack gimmick that went over.
yeah, it just got over and became something great, and that's why he did it for 20 years.
Like, I mean, technically, the Undertaker's he's a zombie.
Yeah,
He's a zombie that can't get hurt. That's the worst gimmick, and it was
it
amazing.
lasted almost 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
It's the best gimmick ever. But yeah, he would steal things. He stole the $1 million title from Virgil and got it back for Ted DiBiase. He stole the Macho Man's hat. And he did an angle where he hanged the British Bulldog. Because you always have like a rope with a hook on it. I guess it was like to put a car up on a tow truck.
Yeah.
And he just hanged the British Bulldog with it.
Yeah.
And then he did a gear change too, because it was always like he would have the domino mask and he would have like this green like long singlet and with tire tracks on it. And then at the very end he had like a full mask that was just like a tire tread mask, and then he would have like a more traditional like Bret Hart looking singlet, and it was like black and white. It was like all tire tracks. That was like the very end of Repo
And
Man.
had that like trench coat with tires on the top of it.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah,
He
and
got
then
run
the
over by
Repo was
like he
spelled out
got
in
ran over
license
by a
plates.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, Repo Man.
Repo Man, so good. And then he did some indies after he was gone by '93. He was gone after some of the very early Raws. That's where he did the thing where he stole Randy Savage's hat. And he shows up in WCW in '94, and he's just in the crowd as this like loudmouth who's heckling baby faces, and especially Dustin Rhodes. And he shoves Dustin Rhodes and gets arrested. But lo and behold, he's bailed out by I'll say Colonel Robert Parker.
Yeah. That big old wiener.
bails him out. Yes, indeed. The Tennessee Stud. And
Google that.
he's
Google him in a bathing suit.
okay. You could do that. Another guy you could Google legendary stories about, at least a guy we talked about earlier, would be Too Cold Scorpio.
Yeah.
Was he
Legendarily gifted, we'll say.
more than the Colonel?
No, we don't know. For sure.
Yeah, nobody's ever Too Cold's never taken a Speedo picture.
Jesus, the Colonel is
But the guys you always hear about are the Colonel, Too Cold, and Virgil.
Yeah. And then the
And-
genius. The genius could do.
Well, I think it was more of a flexibility
Yeah.
thing. The genius could
Well, I'm sure it wasn't
The-
small.
yeah, but the genius could kind of maneuver his hips
Yeah.
in such a way that he could reach something with he could have done the Jake the Snake rib by himself. We'll
Yeah.
put it that way.
I'm gonna take a picture of old man Colonel and put it on our Instagram.
Oh gee.
In that blue Speedo.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's going on our Instagram.
So he's now the Blacktop Bully, Barry Darso, and he's feuding with Dustin Rhodes. They infamously, at the very first WCW Uncensored, they have a King of the Road match
Yeah.
where they wrestle on the back of a moving flatbed truck.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the end for him for a little bit, because he was fired. Dustin Rhodes was fired. That's why he became Goldust, because he got fired here. And Mike Graham, the agent of the match, were all fired because the Bully and Dustin Rhodes bladed, which was against company policy. No blood in WCW at this
Yeah.
point.
Ain't that something?
Only
So,
RoboCop.
He did some indies. He was in this thing called the AWF that didn't last too long. Had a bunch of '80s guys in it, and they did matches with like rounds and stuff. And then he comes back to WCW in '97. He's Barry Darso, just generic him for a little bit, and then he becomes in '98 Mr. Hole in One, an evil golfer.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
All in one
Hi-
Darso.
His name was supposed to be Stuart Payne, but right before he was going to go on TV with that name, it was based on this golfer Payne Stewart. Right before he was going to go on TV, the real Payne Stewart died in a plane crash.
Wow.
What timing?
And very briefly, he also would, in around '99, before he left WCW, he became Crusher Khrushchev again on WCW Saturday Night. And he mainly retired after WCW was over. He would come back every now and then with Axe. He would he wrestled Chikara very
Yeah.
famously. You did sound for that show, right?
Yes,
Andy?
I did. Yeah.
And I met him. I actually met Demolition at a show in or not a show, at a convention in Jersey in 2009, Chiller Theater. Me and my buddy Jack, we have our picture taken with Demolition.
Nice.
I'm wearing an Ultramanus black shirt.
That's awesome. I know one of the things. I
and-
forget if it was Axe or Smash when he was there at Chikara. He's like, sure are a lot of mask guys here. I was like,
You had no idea.
Kind of the gimmick. No, I didn't know.
That's awesome.
And then he did come back twice more in WWF or WWE as Repo Man too. He was in the Gimmick Battle Royal at WrestleMania X7. He was in the Raw 15th Anniversary Battle Royal.
Oh yeah, how about that?
And his son Dakota wrestled for a little bit in like 2008 to like 2013. He was in developmental for a little bit, but they never put him on TV. He was actually in a tag team in the Florida Indies. Yeah, he had a nice career. He was never like the world champion. He had a great run as Demolition, but hell of a career.
Yeah, and that's all that 2 episodes worth all came from the same
high school. Ain't that
high
insane?
school that graduated.
Little high school in this little suburban town
Crazy.
right outside the Twin Cities. Yeah,
Crazy, man. It's crazy. And
seven,
it's
like
and
just about 10 if you count like Okerlund. They got like 10 like major figures in wrestling.
yeah, and it goes to show, man. Like if you come from a small area like we do, support's a big thing, and if you do make it, you don't forget about other people in your area. You know what I mean? Like, and I respect that. That's something too. If this podcast blows up, man, it's not just me. It's not just us that make it. We're trying to help other people out too. You know what I mean? And because you wanna showcase where you're from and bring more talent up, and that's exactly what they did. And it all started with Vern, and just went from there.
It's
And
just crazy.
Well,
like
if we
how-
make it, I want to be El Hijo del Repo Man.
all right, I'm cool. I'm with it. But yeah. So any ideas of before we get out of here? Any other topic ideas for next week? Is there a show or a wrestler we want to spotlight, or do we need to think on it and come back with it and surprise everybody?
Right, I think, I don't know,
I'm
unless
I'm
Brian
trying to
has something
think.
offhand.
Is there well, no, Halloween will be over by then, so Halloween Havoc really wouldn't work.
The Heroes of Wrestling pay-per-view. That's horrible.
Oh no. I already watched that once.
Oh.
I actually got that pay-per-view.
Oh my.
We'll figure something out. Even if we do like maybe like a car ride home type thing, but like an independent show or something. Like we have so many different things. Like we don't want. We're gonna try to keep mixing it up and keep it fresh and keep new ideas coming. But as for now, we won't really announce what next episode is gonna be. Once we figure it out, I will make a post and say, get ready. This is what
There
it's
you
gonna
go.
be. But until then, Brian, what do you got to plug?
Murder My Dude, as always, we just celebrated our 2nd anniversary.
Congratulations.
Episode 87. We did miss a few weeks here and there, but we've done 87 episodes. We did a Halloween episode this week. All Halloween themed. Some newer stories related to Halloween. Who Died the Worst is about Halloween. And I always love those movies like Creep Show, like Twilight Zone the movie, Campfire Tales, where there's a trick or treat, where there's a bunch of little stories.
Treehouse
So
of
that-
Horrors.
Yeah, Treehouse of Horror does the exact same thing. And so that's what we did this week. There's 3 smaller stories instead of 1 big one.
Interesting.
And they're all Halloween related.
So we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary. The first interview ever is going to be on the 12th of November, and the first ever Tornado Tag podcast will be on and our 2-year anniversary will be on the 18th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Oh, wow.
we're creeping up too. We're creeping up for it. And then Not Cool in High School will be December 2nd, 2 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
So a lot of fun stuff, man. I actually just binged All Murder My Dude, and I got caught up. I'm not on the newest episode, but I finished I was like 4 back.
The newest one literally came out today. So.
Yeah, so I didn't get a chance to listen to that one. I've been playing the new Watch Dogs.
Really?
It's fucking amazing. If you like open world Ubisoft games, you'll love it.
I played most of Watch Dogs 2, and I think I did finish Watch Dogs 1.
If you're a fan of 2, you'll love part 3. A lot of really cool changes to it. It's really fun. London, It's all London.
I'm just not very good at it. That's been my problem with it. I'm not very good at it.
Yeah. Throw it on easy and just kind of explore the city and enjoy the story and have fun hacking everything. You'll have a good time with it.
Mhm.
Andy,
Like I said before, Pro Wrestling Empire on YouTube, and then Outbreak Wrestling on YouTube.
Outbreak Wrestling, baby,
Yeah,
and
two shows, so
yeah, check
check
out
'em out.
Outbreak, check out Pt2, check out all local wrestling. Definitely hit up Independent Wrestling TV and go check out Camp Leapfrog, man. Go show those guys some love. It's a fun show, a lot of cool things, and like I said, Sunday we're gonna do our review show for it. That'll do it. Episode 84 in the books. Robbinsdale High School Part 2 completed. We'll have some new information very soon on what our new episode is going to be. So we'll see you guys then. Here's some no rain checks, and we're out of here.